All right. I was having a big conversation with myself with the microphone off. All right, well, we're back and good. So I was putting a big sign over my marital bed, 112 days without an incident. Just like at a factory. Anyway, we're going to have a guy on later on who I guess Hooters is upset about. Is this in the United States? He wants to open a chain of restaurants.
Well, he has one open, so he wants.
But it's called bikini sports bars. But the term restaurant is what he's calling it. Is that going to be on the sign? A restaurant? A breast?
I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. I would guess so, since he trademarked the term.
Bone Daddies. Is that his place too?
That's another one. And there's Cans and
there's a restaurant called Cans?
Yes. Kansas City, I think.
C-A-N-S.
C-A-N-Z.
C-I-T-Y.
I think.
Kansas City. Kansas City.
Yeah.
You've got to admit they're pretty, inventive. But what is odd with all of this feminist stuff, I mean, Christina, let's say, would you go with us, go out one night and go to Kansas City? Would you go? I mean,
of course
isn't it?
I would. I've already been to Hooters with you guys.
Yeah. Hooters, though, is kind of.
Let's face it. I was stacked more than any waitress there, but yeah.
Right. But it's weird, isn't it? It's like, with all of this, big feminist movement, and then you have a guy opening restaurants, proudly opening restaurants. Now, the Tilted Kilt, they have the greatest ads. The women in the ads are so gorgeous. I'd like to open a restaurant where all of the waitresses, Garrett, have to be single moms.
Really?
Sounds so depressing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be.
Sounds like
I don't know what the name of that one would be.
Party.
Just call it, Banged and Forgotten. How about this one? Bangers and Mash.
MILF and Cookies?
There you go. MILF and Cookies. That's exactly what I would call it. You got to be a single mom to work it. And by the way, I'd like you to be our vice president of good ideas. So we'll have this guy on.
Nipple androids.
Now, can Hooters sue this guy? No, Hooters can't sue him, right? I mean, it's just alluding to the breast. Then later on, we will go to an undersea lodge. You have to put on, I think we've had him on before. Could this be a holiday road? We haven't had that in a long time. Could be a holiday road.
It's not summer yet, but yeah.
Well, all right. Anyway, it's warm in this. You have to scuba dive into your room.
Oh, I would hate this.
Your scuba. You would really?
I'm so afraid of the world underneath. Yeah, I don't like any of it. I don't like to eat it.
And then once you get under there, you get into the thing and you're underwater and you see all the fish going by and,
knock me out with a frying pan, shove me under the water, and then I'll wake up. I'll be happy.
And those sucker fish would come up, Garrett, and would suck onto the
happy
window.
Ending?
Yeah. So your wife turns you down. So, well, really, I'm going to go swim with the sucker fish then. I'll show you and leave there. And then, I think this guy's hysterical. He has a house across the street from the Westboro Baptist Church, and he's painted it in these, the
pride flag colors.
Is that what it's called? Gay pride or just pride? Pride
flag, I think.
Pride flag colors. And he has a little VW there called the Fag Bug is on the front lawn. So I think that's pretty brilliant. And, that's the old guy that now people are saying either allegedly, inside joke, allegedly, either he may have some gay tendencies, or allegedly he has a relative that may have.
Yeah, a book came out of a person that left the church claiming these.
Right.
Things, yeah.
We had her on.
That's
We
the
had
same
that woman
woman,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same woman. And a lot of her answers were, well, I don't know. I mean, you could tell as some sort of a ghostwriter wrote it. There was a lot of, well, I don't know, other thing. You know, the tragedy there in Boston, continues. But what also continues is they're going to run the thing again next year. And now there's all these stories about other races that people are worried about. Here is one that no one should ever worry about anything happening. It is a race that they've had for 20 years. And they only have maybe like 4 or 5 participants at a time. And the race covers 120 miles. And it takes 75 hours to complete the race. And the racers have to be followed with a car that has snacks in it and has food in it. And the racers get to stop and sleep for a couple of hours. It is called, it's way past Ironman. It's called Ultra Trail Racing. They show this woman, Lizzie Hawker of Britain. She's run over the Alps. She's run over the desert. She ran from Kathmandu, from the Mount Everest base camp. She set a personal record to Kathmandu from the Mount Everest base camp of 71 hours and 25 minutes. There's no one there to cheer her on. There's no finish line. There's no nothing. The average race is 100 miles. I just find these people there's something wrong with these people. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't help science. It doesn't do anything. It's just, it's just ridiculous. Now, I know the 26-mile thing is nothing. But I'll say this again, I just think that whole thing is, the running of those races is weird to me. I don't know, just strange.
It's an accomplishment, a life accomplishment.
Really? Why don't you just do it on a treadmill? Just do that on a treadmill. Go 26 miles. I've never tried that. 26 miles in a treadmill.
Sounds so boring.
That would take me all night. I can guarantee
What
you
are
right
you
now.
going to look at? Your wall?
TV.
No, but still.
Oh, that's right. Wouldn't that be funny? You're running 26 miles, Garrett, and you got the little television attached to you. And you're watching it. You got the earbuds in.
Catch up on a season of Sopranos or something.
I've never
I'd be dead.
run those races. I've run the 5Ks and the 10Ks and all that years ago, usually because some girlfriend I had or something was doing it. But I do remember running in those and people that had no interest in winning or anything else, talking business while they were running or just chatting about all their crap in their life. In the 26-mile things, they must do that constantly. Just constantly. Just chatting and talking and everything. But I mean, not to win. I don't know. And of course, I stand by my thing. Outlaw. I don't know who you outlaw. You just don't. How about if you outlaw people that have won it 3 times in a row?
So, anybody?
How about that one?
Kenya?
No, that would happen to be who they would be. But it's a 3-time in a row thing. I mean, I think they've done a great thing with kids. And I don't know why you don't do it with adults. When you're a kid, when you're an adult and you're a parent, you are taught nowadays to teach your children morals. You're taught to teach them, be kind to their neighbors, race and gender don't make any difference. And when you play sports, it's really not about the sport or the victory or whatever. It's the effort. Like Garrett said, it's the accomplishment. Because, you're right on that cusp. You were probably taught that when you were a child. And it's just, you're spewing it back. See, you were brainwashed and it worked. It worked. As soon as you get to adulthood, all of that's out of the window. It's about winning. It's about getting the best job, having, your computer is not as good as the other guy. And remember, the guy from Dell, the people from Apple, the guys from Microsoft, right? They're all billionaires already. So why don't they get together and just make computers for people? Why do they have to be in competition? It's like all hold hands when you cross the billionaire finish line. I may start a whole new thing. It would be like, radio used to be very, very, very competitive. Very competitive. And you would fight. I mean, I worked at stations where we would sabotage the other stations, whatever we could sabotage, right? Especially if they were on a remote or something, we would, ruin the tires of their truck, or, I told you once
Really?
I threw rocks at a guy at a mall. Yeah, we threw rocks at each other. Yeah. And the van had, sometimes the van would have a turntable in it or a cassette player or whatever, but most of the time it was all back at the station. So the van for the competing radio station in Charlotte, they were playing their records from the van. They had the thing in there. I was talking and then throwing it back to the station, right? Mm-hmm. We would go over to their van while we knew a record was playing. We'd shake the van. Oh, they would go.
You're a jet all the way.
And then the guy would come out and he'd yell and scream. We threw rocks at him and then ran back to our van. Oh yeah. Now, you know what? We didn't need to do that. But maybe we did. We were so much better so maybe if it's really competitive. But once you get to the $1 billion thing, you cross the finish line together. I bet if you said to those Ethiopians and those Kenyans, why don't we run this thing, and why don't you guys start last? They would still win, by the way. If they were dead last, how many people running in like the New York or L.A. marathon? How many? 20,000?
27,000.
27,000. Okay. If you put, whoever these people are, whose no one can pronounce their names, and in the United States, I know this is awful, but no one thinks anything about them. Nothing. In fact, in all of the bombing stuff, not one person said, thank God Kiko Akioko and whatever their names are were safe. I swear to God, not one person. Not one person mentioned that these two representatives of their countries were safe. Nobody. Thank God they didn't do anything to the woman that came in fourth, from Poland. No one said a word, right? I mean, you live in Poland, you know how to run long distances from Russian and East German soldiers. You know how to run as far as you can run. Yeah. So, yeah. Now, the 100-mile race, I mean, I don't know. How do you practice for that? What's your tune-up? You're just going, you run 50 miles, that's 2 days. How can you hold a job? Can you imagine you're the people in the van that follow the runner and you have the snacks?
8 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
There'd be no snacks left for the runner if I was driving that van.
I would find out where there was a cafe or a truck stop or whatever, like 10 or 12 miles ahead, and I go, look, we'll see you when you come up to the truck stop. We'll see you when, we'll be up there waiting for you. If anything happens, beep us. Just beep us. Let's go to Ed, who's in Florida. Yes, Ed, it's Shay Thomas. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Jay, I grew up with the sons of one of the doctors who actually started Hooters. There was a couple of restaurateurs and some doctors in Clearwater that put the money up for the original Hooters, and then it kind of just exploded. But in Clearwater, Florida, and St. Pete, there were every amalgamation that you could possibly think of. There was Melons. There was Knockers. I mean, every restaurant you could think of that could serve chicken wings.
You mean around them? Around Hooters, they opened up Melons. They opened up Fuddruckers is, a variation of,
But they also
the F word. I'm trying to think of what it. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it ought to be dirty, right? Right.
But they tried to open one called Peckers.
Yeah.
Which was a woodpecker for a mascot.
Yeah.
For women. But what they found was women are lousy tippers, and most of the gay guys showed up, so it closed.
Peckers. Well, it is funny, isn't it, that men, you put, tits and ass someplace, and guys just show up to talk to women or be around women, that would never have anything to do with them. I bet you the percentage of guys that have ended up dating or with a Hooters girl is probably 1%, less than 1%. I mean, they're hard to hit on. I mean, Burt Reynolds, when he's was doing a movie here, he hung out at a Hooters, allegedly. Allegedly, in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. People said they would see him there. Maybe Burt Reynolds could get laid at a Hooters. I don't know.
Jay, they have when I used to coach college football, and the girls that were the Hooters waitresses, they called it a Hooters scholarship, and it was a middle-aged guy who paid their car payment, their rent payment, and basically he would show up and bang them. But then they all had boyfriends that were on the football team. It was hilarious. They call it a Hooters scholarship.
Well, that's a sugar daddy.
Yes.
That's a sugar daddy deal.
The Hooters. Guys with money get laid. Jay, you have money, you could get laid at a Hooters.
Well, no, wait a minute. One night, my son JT and I were calling his brother, and he was at a Hooters in Michigan, and he was being fed chicken, hand-fed chicken, by a Hooters girl. And I've told people this, and they said, what are you talking about? You pay extra. I'm sure she puts on rubber gloves. She peels the chicken and feeds you by hand for an extra, like, $20. Have you ever heard of this, Ed of Florida, ever?
No, I never have. I'd be divorced.
It's weird.
Because I'd do it.
He's not the kind of guy that would make it up. He said he was sitting there being fed chicken by the girl and put her on the phone, and she said, yeah, it's one of the things we do. You give us an extra $20 and we feed you the fried potatoes and the Garrett, would you like to do that? Would you like a woman with those lunch lady gloves on feeding you fried chicken? Big Hooters girl?
I don't know about the lunch lady gloves, but is she bending over in front of you as she's feeding?
Sure. Two girls could come over, and it was all you can eat, and he was ordering, other stuff was coming over. Sure. Oh no, they were playing it up. They wanted more money. No, it's probably not lunch lady gloves, but it's the gloves that the trainers on the sidelines use so they don't, get some horrible disease, allegedly, from the bleeding athletes that they're taking care of. So. And where did you coach college football? That's a big deal. Where'd you coach?
At the University of Louisville.
Wow. Well, who was the head coach?
Howard Schnellenberger was the head coach.
That's a big deal because that's a really big deal because he really brought them into prominence. And then he had been at Miami or before he went to Miami?
It was after Miami. He
never was as good. And what position did you coach?
I was the strength and conditioning coordinator.
Wow. So you're like a big muscle guy.
It's all done with mirrors.
Now, how many times, we don't know who you are. Did you shoot those kids up? Did you juice them up good before they went out?
No,
big line?
No. Actually, no, because when I took the job at Louisville, Keith Kephart at Texas A&M, the head strength coach at Baylor, and Ray Moran at Iowa all got busted by the feds for steroids. No, I wasn't going to jail for any of those kids.
Well, I read today that they've got 5 or 6 guys that they're looking at, and Garrett, I really need to find this thing because I was looking at the sports page this morning. There are 6 guys that they're looking at to be linemen. There's not one of them below 6'6", and not one of them below 300 pounds.
In the draft, you mean?
In the draft for NFL. 6'7", 330, and they run the 40 in like 5.50, which is probably what I ran the 40 in. My fastest was, 4.9 or something like that. So they're fast and they can run you down. Okay. They can run your ass down. What do you think of all that? They're not steroided out, but you're 300 pounds. There's got to be some fat there, don't you think, Ed?
Oh, but they're not bodybuilders by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of funny. We used to like to get kids, Jay, that were like 6'4", 225 and already fast. And
that you can still be fast at 6'4". You can be fast at 6'4", 225. But at 300, these guys can run you down still.
But what we like to do, Jay, was by the time they were 50 or seniors, these kids were like 285, 295. And so if you're let's say hypothetically, you're a 5'flat 40 when you're 225 pounds. You're not going to be a 4'7" 40 at 300. You're going to be slower. So if you get a kid who's fast to begin with, let's say he's 225, 6'4", 4'7", as he gains weight and strength and power, he's going to still be that 4'7", 4'8" sprinter.
I'll tell you why. They have small ankles and small legs. They're not these big guys with the big giant legs. Garrett, they'll have legs our size, and then their bodies will be, from the thigh up, will be 300 pounds. Yeah. Imagine you're running as fast as you can, and a guy 300 pounds is about to catch you. You know what I see in football that is weird? You see a guy going toward the sidelines and a wide receiver, and they run out of bounds. And I know why they're doing it, but you sometimes look at it and go, boy, that's really not, that's frowned upon when you're teaching kids how to play football or when you're playing it. I mean, in the pros, they run out of bounds all the time. I mean, your guy's coming to tackle them, but, they're not going to run through them, right? Not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a quarterback at Louisville, Jay, named Dave Ragone, and he was 6'4" and about 260. And he said only baseball players slide. So he used to truck guys all the time. He was there with John L. Smith was there.
They're probably, feeding him pablum right now with a bib on somewhere. So thank you, Ed.
He's a good businessman, a very bright kid. He was Dean's List business major. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's moved back to Louisville, but he played in the NFL for a few years. But he learned to slide in the NFL because he was told to slide. But in college, he dipped his shoulder and ran people over.
All right, Ed of Florida. Thank you. Now, that's a personal phone call from me, Garrett. I apologize to everyone listening. Let's go to Al in Maryland. Yes, Al, it's Jay Thomas. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Geez, I got to follow a guy who was coach at Louisville. Thanks a lot.
Well, no, you're not following anybody. They weren't big winners when he was there.
All right.
You know why they didn't win? He didn't juice them up.
Nope, no steroids, you're out.
He probably runs you know what? He runs a health, one of these, he probably runs one of these health food stores somewhere.
Gotcha. Right. Hey, we've got a JFK 50-mile race here in Maryland that they run. It's ran on the C&O Canal Appalachian Trail and local roads, and I ran cross country, but I since have never had any inclination to run more than 3 miles at a time.
It's a 50-mile race. It's 50 miles.
It's been run for about 30 years, and they get 2,000 entries. In fact, they get so many, the Appalachian Trail tried to throw them off because they said they were destroying the trail. How a bunch of guys in London with sneakers on are destroying the Appalachian Trail is beyond me, but that's what they tried to do. But no Ethiopians, to my knowledge, have ever won. They're only
there's no money. No, there's no money.
I guess.
They go around the world. No, they just go like those, the Kenyan, the Ethiopian, whatever. They moved on to the next race. So they could have gone to Canada. They could have gone to wherever they're having another marathon. They just go around the world and then they go back to their hut. They just go back to their hut.
Have stories about the people that are in this and the agony they go through. And some local folks were protesting, like, we don't want this on our roads. And everyone was giving this guy a hard time. But then the next story was, one guy about the 40-mile mark, he just fell down in someone's yard and started crying. Now, why would you not want that in your front yard, huh?
He fell down because he couldn't finish the race and he began to cry.
Simply exhausted and just started bawling, So he's got some middle-aged guy and
I guess
poor clothes crying in your front yard. Yeah, so
you know what?
Hope to aspire.
Get in shape.
Right.
Buy a sports car and become a sugar daddy for a Hooters girl.
That's right.
And spend your time just banging away, and actually when you're middle-aged and you're with a Hooters girl, Garrett, it's just in little spurts. It's a sprint, actually. It's just a quick sprint. There's no big, long distance. You know what I mean?
Does Christina do the feed the chicken thing? Is that something that's in her repertoire?
No, she's not. No. Christina's actually a pretty square, moral, Italian girl, raised well. No, she is. I would say Christina is probably, even though she doesn't want to be a mother, she's more of a person that one day when she does settle down with a guy, she's more of a, she doesn't know this about herself, but she's more of a mom type than she is a hip,
I'm a nurturer.
Sex
now
queen.
you're turning me on again, Jay.
Right. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly. I think she's a solid citizen, is what I'm saying. A solid citizen.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. There you go.
All
right, thank you. And, because you work at Sirius and all the guys expect everybody to say all that crazy nonsense over there. Here's the truth. Every guy that's ever married the hot piece of ass has lived to regret it. I don't know one guy who hasn't married the hot chick at the bar or dated the hot chick at the whatever. They're not around for the long run. And it's because generally, sadly, they're not the brightest, Garrett.
Really?
You have buddies of yours who've picked up the hot chick that she became his girlfriend and all that. Did it ever really last? You don't have that.
No, I once dated the hot chick, and it didn't last for me.
I've had them too, and it didn't. Now, either the jealousy sets in. The best time to date a really hot chick is when you don't care. And if you're an older guy, she's really hot, and she's, saying all the stupid things that they say because their whole lives are based on what they look like. And guys are hitting on them, not because they want to sit up all night and talk to them, but so their whole lives are based on that. So, of course, they jabber all the time. Jabber. I was noticing in the airport, I see a lot of this. Hispanic guys, older Hispanic guys, who are married to younger women who are really good looking. And the woman is really interested in them, you know what I mean? But the older guy, and when I say older, let's say he's 12 years older, right? And they'll have kids, but they're married. And the Hispanic guys, they just sort of sit there. And I don't know what the woman is saying, but it seems like the woman's really jabbering. It's almost like, and they're really good looking. And every few minutes, the guy go like this. Well, he'll go like this. De mucho mato. Oh, I mean, I watch this guy in the van, 6 o'clock in the morning going to catch a flight. And she was attractive. She was focused on him. And I mean, just jabbering away. If it was 6 o'clock in the morning and somebody was doing that shit to me, I would ask the guy to stop and leave her out at a ramp. Like on the way to the airport. Just, can we get her to maybe go by the side of the road, please, or whatever? But he was very cool. Very, very cool, I mean, almost drug dealer cool, but probably not a drug dealer. Probably made his money in, importing toasters or something. The richest person I ever met in South America, they imported microwaves. Huge money in microwaves. Because it's not an oven. In a mud hut with a plug, you got a microwave. A lot of them don't have an oven. They'll be cooking using cow manure, but they have a microwave. And they'll plug it in like up the, climb
to a
up
potato or something?
I don't know, not to a potato, to electricity. Let's go to Sean, who is in Massachusetts. Yes, Sean, go ahead.
Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Good.
Christina, if somebody brought you in a Hooters shirt, would you please post pics for us?
Oh, please. Why? What do you get out of that?
And the scrunchy socks?
But you get nothing. She has no interest in you. You don't know her.
Garrett, get down there and get a shirt. Get on it, buddy.
You know what I like about this guy? Would you wear a shirt? Go buy it for her, Garrett. Go get it. All right, get rid of this guy. I wish it was Shawnee who stuttered, They're talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce going to jail. You can go to Cuba, but you have to go with a reason. They just went for vacation. That is against the law, and you can get 5 to 15 years. And they were tweeting and everything else and saying what a great time they were having. Now, I know it's stupid that we have this embargo and all that, but that is against the law. And you and I can't do this.
My mom went once.
But she went with a group, like a study group.
It was like ex-teachers or something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine who's a director brought his wife and 3 kids, but they went on some sort of cultural exchange kind of a thing.
Yes.
My son went to Cuba with young politicians over there, you know. He took a bunch of spy photos and came back to the United States. But Jay-Z and Beyonce, they tweeted, text, Facebook, they went over there. Are they not going to jail because he's friends with Barack Obama? Is that why he's not going to jail? I don't know.
I can't think of any other.
You can't do that. It really is against the law. You can't do it.
He even wrote a song about it.
I know he did. What did he say? The president told me to chill, you're going to get me impeached?
Yeah, in the gist of that. Yeah.
Artie Lang has a really good joke about Jay-Z about how he basically just describes how to score all kinds of drugs and just never really, I can't do the joke justice, but he's just like, and then you go down to the corner and then you get your 8-ball.
It's like
an instruction book on how to get drugs, and nobody
What
ever
song
said a
is
word
that? What's
about
the name?
it.
What's the name of that song?
New York, Concrete Jungle. Yeah.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, well, it's basically an instructional manual on how to get drugs.
You see, what
in
it
New York City.
it's totally cultural. First of all, you and let's say people from the urban, whatever you want to say, you know, God forbid. There's a group of individuals that will listen to that song and they'll know all the songs. White, black, Hispanic, you'll know every word. The average white person, the average middle-aged white guy who would be outraged hasn't the faintest idea what that song is about and can't really make the words out. But I happen to like the song, but I don't know. I didn't know it had all that stuff in it. And that wouldn't bother me, but it is kind of a weird signal to send, don't you think? Where do you get your 8-ball? You want your kids to, where you get your 8-ball and all that? The United States government, if it does not approve such travel to Castro's murderous regime, that's in the law that stops you from going over. Under the U.S. trade embargo, travel to Cuba is prohibited without a special license granted for academic or cultural exchanges. I'm sure finding out where to get an 8-ball in Havana is not on this list of stuff. But since Jay-Z and Beyonce are friends and contributors to President Obama, Republicans want to know why. I totally agree with them. I absolutely agree with them. I mean, that's flaunting it. It's stupid. I know it's dumb. But I'd love to see them just lock both of them up.
They have a new baby.
Yeah, how can you do that to poor Blue Ivy?
That's got to be the worst. You know, if any of these people lived in regular neighborhoods, I mean, you could name all of these, you know, all the names of all the movie stars' kids. If they weren't going to private schools and all that, they would have the shit beaten out of them on a daily basis. Blue Ivy would be just in tremendous trouble. You see these poor kids that kill themselves
Not
because
anymore.
people are, oh, absolutely, you're wrong. You're wrong. I mean, my kids went to the private school where everybody's peace and love, and they bring a kid home, and one kid, his parents named, he and his brothers, each kid has 5 names, and the names are either composers, authors, or philosophers. So, and these are legal names. So, you know what? I know the kid's first name. Like one of the kids' name is Liv. You know, like the German name or the Hebrew name Liv. And then all the names after that are Amadeus, Mozart.
Spielberg?
It could be. It could be directors. It could be anything. Right. And then one of them is named something weird and it's all philosophers. You know, Kafka, you know.
Plato, Socrates?
Whatever. You know, we only know the regular ones. We don't know any of the new ones.
Freud.
So what's your boy becoming? Well, he just graduated from NYU in philosophy. Wow. You know? So
He's a thinker.
Yeah. Well, he's philosophizing. He's over at the house right now, philosophizing. I did sit one night with someone, and they actually said to me that their daughter was a poet. And I'm going, mm-hmm. And they went to some big deal school, Wesleyan or something like that, and have their master's degree in poetry. And I said, really? Well, I'm a poet. And she says, really? I said, yeah. But no one knows it. But my feet show it. They're Longfellows. This woman spent, $150,000 on this incredible education. And I see poetry in like the New Yorker, or you'll see it in magazines, and you'll read it and you go, what does it mean? And two, how many people, are there enough people, even the pseudo-intellectual, full of crap people that read the New Yorker, like me, who pretend they understand the articles or whatever, how many of them get the poetry? I never understand it. And as the river rolled past, and the brown leaf found its way to the bark of the fallen tree, I was reminded of the crash. Not the gentle crash of a leaf against the moss on the riverbank, but the crash of my sanity and of my life and of Gloria's love. And it has the guy's name there. By the way, that's a good poem, right? That sounds like a poem, doesn't it?
I fell asleep.
Means nothing. Means nothing. It's like when I read I can't read fiction. Nonfiction, Guy was born, this is what he did, he fought the war, she did this, but when you read fiction, you open the book, and I walked through the door. Emil's loosely fitting jacket, long blonde hair, an open-collared shirt, let me know that he was not of this place. And I'm going, what? They always describe and I always say, because my wife reads 50 novels a year, I go, you realize the only reason why they do those descriptions is to make the book longer. The guy or the woman has this idea, and the idea is about somebody who has been tortured and lives in Argentina, and how horrible their lives were and what they did to get out of it. Okay, so that's the story. But before you get to all that, or they give you little snippets, they got to describe the room you were in. General Galamicio had a stare so icy it could have frozen a lake in July. They have shit like that in there. And people go, did you read? Look, the meanest son of a bitch I've ever seen in my life, General Galamici, stared at me, and I almost shit my pants. Now that's a book. Huh?
The end.
No. That's the description of the general. He looked like the kind of guy that would tie a puppy to a railroad track. I should start writing fiction. Well, no, you know what I want to do? Write my life story, and because I don't know what everybody was thinking, I don't know what Robin Williams was thinking. I don't exactly remember exactly what he said or what, somebody in some movie or some set or whatever. I don't know exactly and don't remember the exact words. And when you write like your own life, you get in trouble if it's not completely accurate, right? Since I don't know what they were saying exactly or remember it, I would write the story, but as fiction. And people would say, but this is exactly what you did. These are the people you worked with. We have video of you working with those people. Yet you say the book is fiction. Yeah. Well, is it fiction? Yeah, because I made up what they were saying and thinking about me. I don't know what they were thinking. But, I would make everybody jealous of me in the book. Everybody. Right? As soon as Robert De Niro saw me sit down in one of his restaurants, he hated my guts. Now, I have been in one of his restaurants, and I did see him. I don't know what I have no idea. No, I ordered some food. He's, talked to the chef. He laughed a little bit. I don't know, nodded my way. Who knows? In my book, he nodded at me as if I was a turd floating on a frozen lake in July that had been looked at by the general from Venezuela. That's 2 books in one. Mm-hmm. Do you read fiction, Garrett?
That's the made-up stuff?
Yes, that's the made-up stuff.
Yeah, I do.
You do? What's the last book you read?
Right now, I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, now you're talking. I mean, that's a classic. André Dumas, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Yeah. All about it.
It's supposed to be one of the first books that is fiction, but uses modern, the current times environment and people and stuff. Like the actual.
And many people think it may be true, but he fictionalized it. Much like what I'm saying. Much like what I'm saying. By the way, Texas A&M's Luke Joeckel, he is 6'6", 310 pounds. From Central Michigan, Eric Fisher, 6'8", 305 pounds. Clarence.
Chance.
Oh, Chance is his name?
Yeah.
You know what? You see a name like that, it looks like Chance, but I can't believe somebody named their kid that. Chance Warmack, 6'3", 320. Lane Johnson, Oklahoma, 6'7", 303. This kid's little. Jonathan Cooper from North Carolina, 6'3", 295. DJ Fluker of Alabama, 6'6", 335. Listen to what it says about him. Great height and ideal size. No kidding. Christina, what's the biggest man you've ever let in your bed?
Oh, let in my bed? It's kind of always under like around 5'10".
5'10", what?
Maybe 1 6-footer.
How about this guy? What is his name? Menelik Watson from Florida State. Yeah. He's 6'6", 320.
Oh, what's his shoe size?
Your whole body could fit in one of his shoes. You know when you're a girl and you wear your daddy's shoes around the house? Your whole body would go in his shoe. He'd push you around like you're in a toboggan. Here's my favorite. Larry Warford of Kentucky, 6'3", 343 pounds. That is crazy stuff right there. That is just insane.
What do you always have, if you're his lover, do you always have to be on top of him? Like, it just seems so exhausting.
They say that these guys in some level are very gentle. They say these guys are gentle. And that women figure it out. Yeah. Because you'll see these guys with kind of, first of all, if his girlfriend is 6 feet and weighs 160, he outweighs her by, almost 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of weight.
I think
matter of life and death.
I think when a man gets on top of a woman, even when he's bigger than she is, I think there's weight displacement.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. I mean, otherwise, nature. Well, if that were true, I watched hippopotamuses mate. I went on safari in Africa. I hated it. My wife tells me that I loved it. I hated it. And we would take some eating thing. We'd either have lunch or we'd have dinner or whatever. And wherever we went, what we were waiting for was some sort of animal on animal hostility that ended in the death or the rape of one of the other animals. So this day it was lunchtime and we go and we have our picnic above this, kind of a swimming hole in the river where the hippopotamuses are. And it was mating season. And so all of the female hippopotamuses, they line up like train cars. And the male, the bull, he just kind of stays at the top of the line. So the girl hippopotamus gets in front of him. he gets behind her. They're in the water now. And when he gets on top of her, his weight pushes her down, and all you see is her nostrils blowing hippo snot and water. And it's almost like she's trying to save herself. She's going, and he finishes with her. She, goes off to the side. Next female hippo comes.
What? Really? What?
One after another.
Ugh, disgusting.
The worst one is in the afternoon when, for no reason, the wildebeest cross a river that they don't know why they're crossing, and the crocodiles are waiting to eat them. And it happens every afternoon. And I say to the guy, why are the wildebeest crossing the river? Don't know, boss. Don't know. The grass is the same on the wildebeest side. Listen to this one. The lions eat the wildebeest. The leopards eat the wildebeest. The crocodile. Everything eats a wildebeest. And the wildebeest eats grass. That's all it eats.
Like a deer.
I guess.
Like, I don't think a deer dies of old age. They're all killed somehow. Right?
What a title of a book. The Only Deer That Ever Died of Old Age by Garrett Andrews. What a little deer. Oh, man. They killed Bambi's mom, for God's sakes. Are you kidding? Blasted her.
That was the worst.
Oh, it was awful. Awful. All right, we'll continue all this. Stay where you are. A man that's got Hooters on the run, opening up his new, he's calling them breastaurants.
I like the name.
It's so clever.
I do, too. It is very clever. All right, we'll be right back.
The Jay Thomas Show.
You have to humiliate for what?
It's fun.
It's the Jay Thomas Show.
Afternoon.
Indy. Sirius XM 104.
I love this. It's one of my favorite songs. I'm not kidding you. Because I was living in New York. I had a ton of money. I'd be driving around with not a care in the world. I had this blasting out of the... Turn it up. Turn it up.
Very inspirational.
Oh, man. I own the friggin' city. Are you kidding? You betcha. Yeah. I would turn the radio up and go to a woman on the street, hey, bitch, this is about me, bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
Turn it up. Yeah, look at it. She'd go, shut up, white man. Shut up. Someone said, how would it feel if you woke up one day and you were black? I'd be fucking this. I'd be elated. I'd be so fucking happy. Are you kidding? I could immediately be saying whatever I want to say, and no one would be able to say anything because I'd go, hey, don't play the race card with me. I'd throw the race card. How many cards in a deck? 52?
Yep.
How many weeks in a year? 52? The race card every week.
Once a
Every
week.
day.
Once a week, race. And you know what else? Every now and again, I'd toss the Joker, okay? Toss the Joker.
The rules
I
of
love
the
this
game.
song.
That one card.
Well, no, wait, turn it up. I don't hear all the instructions. You know what this song is good for? Blending. When you're blending.
Is that
You're
your dance
blending
move?
what?
No,
Like a
well,
juice?
it can be a dance move. Hold on. I can't understand a word he's saying, okay? I don't even. Does he have an address where you get the 8 ball? Does he give a...
They just talk about going to the corner and selling rock and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Just like a bus. This is about a whore, Mom.
Let me hear it.
You're a virgin, and Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church came in from school, graduated to the highlight. Ball players, rap stars, addicted to the limelight. MDMA got you feeling like...
I have no idea.
MDMA, that's a drug.
Right. Yeah. Nobody. Now, you see, this is really what I like about it. I like the backup women singing.
It's Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow, it's fabulous.
When I
Man.
listen to this on my iPod, I do feel a little like my shoulders are puffed out a little bit more when I'm
Was
really
walking
this
mean
down the
this.
song
street.
hers first?
I'm not sure.
But she does like a piano version of the song without the rap, but I don't know.
You don't really need
So
him rapping,
boring.
to be honest. You don't really, without
Yeah.
the rapping, it's boring. Really?
There you go.
All right. I can't stop moving, I'm telling you right now. I'm not kidding you, man. Yeah. I'm like those guys standing at the unemployment line in the Full Monty when the song comes on and they can't stop dancing, you know?
Don't give me images to think about.
Man, I love that.
You
That's
stop
theater,
it right now.
That's theater of the mind. Right? Back and forth. Yeah. Boom. Bang. Boom. By the way, I'm in Louisiana at the Mike Church Studios, and I'm here for Delgado, which is a community college that's been a big part of our lives here, and I like raising money and stuff. But my nephew, who's become an actor, is doing the play, and the play is the Rocky Horror Show, which is it is a theatrical production, and it was made into a movie, right? And so colleges do this all the time. So they decide to do it outside, and they give me a part. I'm the MC of this thing and this robot kind of a thing. My nephew's in the thing. About 3 weeks ago, somebody burned the set down. It was outside. Burned it down. $100,000 worth of damage.
Like out of spite or an accident?
Yeah,
well, they said it was an accident. My nephew, who's totally negative, somebody came and it was an arson, right, like that. I go, shut up, you're nuts. They rebuilt the set. They burned it down last night. Somebody, yeah, it is.
Again?
I said, why don't you have a security guard? I said, why don't you have a security? Because the school cut its budget. They don't have enough money for a security guard. I go, are you nuts? It's New Orleans, Louisiana, you know? I mean, my God. People driving by will see something they don't have. They'll burn it down in New Orleans just for spite. So anyway, but I'm going to perform anyway among the charred remains. Yeah.
The Jay Thomas Show. Afternoon. Jesus. What idiots. Indy. Sirius XM 104.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the locker she wanted.
So people always are amazed that when I play records that I really like that one, they go, well, you must just be pretending. You know, being from where I'm from, and New Orleans in particular, but the South also, there is nothing but R&B down here. Nothing. And everybody dances. Like, if you go to a restaurant and there's some little three-piece band or something in the corner, people don't just sit there and listen to it. I mean, old people, everybody dances. And so that's one reason. Yeah, they'll just anywhere. Absolutely. That's why when people from South Louisiana or New Orleans or whatever, they go other places and music will be playing. They go, my mother used to say this, oh my God, how come no one's dancing? I go, Mom, they don't do that. In Mamou, Louisiana, which is, I would say, 45 minutes from New Orleans, look it up. There is a bar, and the bar is only open from 8 until noon on Saturday morning. That's the only time it's open. Now, or maybe it's the only time it has music. I don't know. You have to get there at 7:45 a.m. And the drinks are like $2-3 a piece. And by 8:30, the place is packed with a couple hundred people. And these, what you guys call Zydeco, which is, I don't know what the fuck that is. But it's Cajun music, and it's in French. And from 8 until noon,
is it called Fred's Lounge?
That's it, Fred's Lounge in Mamou.
Yeah.
And everybody drinks, and if I guess you could bring food or whatever you want. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So we get up at 6 o'clock in New Orleans, 6 o'clock in the morning, and we would drive to Mamou, have breakfast. It's a little tiny town of 3,500 people. Have breakfast and then go to this bar, which is Fred's Bar, right? And people look at me and go, that's not true. It is true. Packed. What does it say? Does it say only on Saturday, Garrett?
It says isolated town, not quite 3,500 people, where the median income hovers around the poverty line.
Why do they have to say that?
It's part of Esquire's Best Bars of 2012.
No, but why do they have to say that the people are poor? It's a little tiny town of 3,500 people. How much money do you think they need?
Hours, Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon. Sunday,
Period,
Monday,
right?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, closed.
Exactly, yeah, in Mamou.
If you don't show up by 8:15 a.m., you won't get a seat. After
Oh, no, that's
8:45,
absolutely true.
You'll be lucky to find standing room. By
Yes,
10:30, you'll have 4 drinks in you, partly because they're so cheap and everyone's
So Esquire wrote this up as a hot place to go. That, by the way, now that's the internet right there. When Mamou, Louisiana. Now we would say a Mamou is like a big woman, Christina. Right. Look at that big old Mamou. Let's get Doug Guller on the Jay Thomas Show. Go to BikiniSportsBarAndGrill.com. Doug, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jay, for having me.
Well, we're excited. We're excited to have you because the term breastaurant is the greatest term we've ever heard. Breastaurant. Did you think of that yourself?
You know, I wish I could lay claim to that. You know, we've been using it for our restaurants for the past 3-4 years, and the media has been calling a lot of the restaurants that are like ours, like Hooters, et cetera, restaurants for a while now, and we've been working on that trademark for the past couple of years, and I was a little shocked when it came through, but elated at the same time.
Now, the Hooters people have been around for a long time. It says here that you got your idea. Were you in Australia when you got the idea for your restaurants?
Yeah, you know, I was sitting on a beach in right outside of Sydney, and you know, I was working for the or selling technology to the government prior to that for a firm. And,
you were in the CIA.
I wasn't that smart. I wasn't that smart. So I said, man, what can I get into that is somewhat recession-proof? And I'm sitting there having a beer, and the waitress is in a bikini top, and I'm like, that's it. Hooters has been doing this for 25 years. I don't think sex, booze, and food is going to go out of business.
Well, you should have had a funeral home attached to it.
That's the end of the life cycle, right?
That is. Well, that's it. It's now what's funny is we have guys, women, everybody on here all the time, and I say this constantly. We're all sitting around and we think of stuff. I mean, Garrett, we've had some crazy people that had to continue doing things in the face of incredible family opposition. I can't remember the last guy we had on that invented something so nuts. He used all of his family's money and everything else. So a lot of guys would think it, but you left, went back to the United States, and then announced, I'm opening a tits and beer bar.
Trust me, in my family as well, growing up Catholic and having 4 siblings and 15 nieces and nephews, and they said, this is what I'm doing, leaving a high-paying job. They're like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Now, you were single, of course. You were single.
And still am. Maybe that's why.
Wow. So now, when you opened it, what city and what was the name of your first restaurant?
Sure. Opened in Austin, Texas. That's where we're headquartered, and we've opened 14 Bikini Sports Bar and Grills since then. And about a year ago, back in July, I bought a town, Jay, outside of Lukenbach, Texas. Have you heard of that song?
No, never heard of Lukenbach. There's a song called Lukenbach?
It's called Lukenbach, Texas, and Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson kind of put that on the map. And this town came for sale called Bankersmith. I found it on Craigslist, and I ended up buying the town and turning it to Bikinis, Texas, changing the name.
Wow. And now do you live in Bikini, Texas?
No, I don't. There were 6 inhabitants of Bikinis, Texas who are no longer there. And we're planning our big,
Did you push them out with tits? Did the tits just push them out of town? They couldn't live there anymore with all these tits everywhere?
Exactly. The Cleveland.
I'm not going to stay here as long as it's either me or those titties. Now somebody's got to go. I am not going to be here with a bunch of titties in my face all the goddamn day and night. Jesus, now look, Doug, you came home, but now you gave me the success story, but you go back to Austin, you had to be a bartender and everything when you opened your first one. It wasn't like did you put millions of dollars into the first restaurant?
No, we probably put $300,000 in the first one.
And did you work? When you interview the women, how do you get past the equality problems? You know, because you're only looking for women with great bodies who want to wear a bikini did you show them the outfit they had to wear?
I did. We made them. We have all of our girls try it on as a part of the interview process. So the way we get around it is similar to how Hooters gets around it. You know, much like a model is, a girl that models for, any kind of clothing wear. You know, they're selling clothes. We're selling chicken wings. So we kind of treat our front of the house staff the same in terms of qualifying them as models, etc.
So you qualify them as models, but they're also they're waitresses too.
Exactly.
Okay. In the airline industry, like years ago, an airline stewardess used to be attractive, right? I really can't remember the last time I saw an attractive airline. Well, not stewardess. What is it, Christina? An attendant?
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant. Okay. They're all beat up looking. They're all overweight. I asked the guy in the airline. He said, we can't get rid of them. We can't get rid of them. And we can't. And I go, one way they ought to get rid of them is, how can like a 60-year-old overweight woman help you as you're heading for the ground in a flaming aircraft? You know what I mean? It's like you'd kind of want a woman who is well built and has some gymnastic ability. You know what I'm saying? To help people. But he said they don't even want to try it. I am amazed that you guys and Hooters and a lot of these companies haven't been sued by certain feminists to say, you gotta have like some flat-chested women or something. You know what I mean? Or big-assed women or something.
Oh, I think I think there's probably been plenty of lawsuits.
Right.
I think the most notorious one is, remember when that Hooters guy tried to be a Hooters waitress? It went all the way to the Supreme Court, like back in, early 90s, I want to say.
Did he ever get a job? Did he wear the little outfit?
No, they ruled in Hooters' favor. But to your airline thing, I remember flying on Hooters Air right when it came out for a bachelor party. And a bunch of us guys boarded in Philly, and we were headed toward Myrtle Beach, and we ended up having all guy flight attendants on Hooters Air, and we're like, what? Now what?
No,
what
you did not. When Hooters was flying, I remember they flew to Vegas, and when we flew to Vegas on Hooters, I remember that when we were landing, they said you had to put the stewardess in a upright position before we landed. And we could use their tits as a flotation device. I'll never forget those instructions. Wait a minute now. You flew Hooters Airline and you got 4 gay, allegedly, male flight attendants. Now, the guys at Hooters, when you start this thing up and you're doing really well, do they fuck with you at all? Do they try and do anything to you?
They come in a lot. They've kind of, since it's changed hands a few times, they've stopped coming in. I think we get a lot of the other, guys, who have started up similar shops to come in. But nothing I could tell that they were fucking with us deliberately. When we opened up, we started offering a full bar liquor. Cause if you remember back in the day, Hooters was only offering beer and wine. And,
I tell you what, I mean this. I went to a Hooters like a few years in Jacksonville or whatever, and the hamburger was terrible. And I never went back. And I said to some, they said, why don't we go to Hooters? I didn't give a shit about the women or whatever. I had a bad hamburger there. So you still have to have, I went recently in Florida and it was good. But you just have to have good food. I mean, you can have half naked women and everything else, but the food has to taste good. That's all I cared about. No
doubt. Yeah. So we our food is night and day from where they are, and the liquor thing shortly changed for them. They soon.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend. He was at a Hooters in outside of Detroit. He paid extra, and the woman, she put on those plastic gloves, and two Hooters girls were peeling the meat off of the wings, and for an extra charge, they were hand feeding him. And I can't find any other person that's been to a Hooters that says this has ever happened. Have you ever heard of this, or do you offer this service?
One, we don't offer it. Two, it wouldn't surprise me because they went on Undercover Boss, and on the scene in Undercover Boss, one of the managers had them eating a plate of beans with their hands behind their back to see who was going to get cut first. Like, their shift was going to end. So they've done some strange things in their operations. It's nothing that we've done, but I got to make sure I get you, Jay, and your team down to Texas or one in Oklahoma or North Carolina so you can visit bikinis firsthand.
Well,
okay. I'm down.
Well, remember, we don't pay for anything. I don't know if you know this or not about radio and people, beside having no money on their end. Absolutely. You fly us there and we'll say we're there and everybody will be happy. I guarantee you. I'll find, you know what? I'll find some wings money in my budget, Garrett, somewhere. I know that. Now, I have a great idea. I wanted to open a restaurant and the women are beautiful, but they're all single moms. What do you think?
Single moms. All right.
There's something about single moms.
Is there a daycare attached or like one of those play bins like at McDonald's with the ball?
You don't want to ruin, you know what? You don't want to ruin a good time, okay? But there's something about when a guy meets a single mom, I know it's awful, but there's a little bit of an excitement factor. There's also a little bit of they need you, and so they're good looking. They've had a kid. I don't know what it is, but there's another level when you meet a single mom. They're good looking, but if they get with you, you can pretty much figure they're going to stick with you. So it would be called, I don't know what it would be called. I don't know what the name would be.
Is this kind of along the cougar category?
No, well, cougars would be, that'd be older women. Cougars could be. Now, would you lose money if you opened a place called Cougars? Huh?
There was a place here in Austin that was called Cool River, that was, strictly for cougars, and, I think it's closed.
But you know what? You've got to actually say the name. You can't. Cool River doesn't say anything to me. Cool River. Where are you going? I'm going to get some older, good-looking women at Cool River. No, you're not. You're going over to Cougars. By the way, Bikini Sports Bar and Grill.com, they're all over the place. I find it interesting that you just did it, and were you successful right away? You get back, you quit your job, your family is in shock, and then they hear you're opening a restaurant with bikini-clad women. Did your dad come in to visit the restaurant like the night it was opened?
They did. The whole family came down. Pops is a little bit more understanding, even though he goes to church every day, believe it or not. Yeah. He likes the business side of it, where Mom, and she's a Southern gal, and she's probably about 5 foot tall. And she was having the time of her life. She had her camera in her hand, and she was taking pictures of our kitchen guys, and they were probably, 2 feet deep, buried in tickets, of food tickets, and wanting these guys to pause for a nice candid Polaroid shot.
So she wasn't taking pictures of why it was packed, which is the bikini women.
Yeah. No, she was in the back of the house for some reason, hanging out with my Mexican brothers.
Now, when you audition the women, we've all seen the porno auditions, the girls sitting there and they seem so very nice, and the guys talking, and the next thing you know, all this activity begins. So these good-looking women come in, they know that nothing sexual is going to happen, but it's gotta be, you're used to it now, but when it first happened, do you remember your first waitress? What would you, not auditions, job applications? I mean, what do you put on there to say you have to have a great body or nice tits? What is there a word you used?
What's the PC version?
I think that's against the law too. Come on in and hope you don't get mustard on one of your nipples. You know, it's do you have a nipple that could actually fall into a ketchup thing? You know.
You know, we do have the standard application, but it all comes down to the one-on-one interview and making sure that they're going to be the right fit.
Now, what happens when somebody comes in and they think they're good looking? You know, there are a lot of women, and they're not up to your restaurant, bikini sports bar and grill standards. What do you say to them?
You know, that's a good question. I've been so far removed from it by now, but I would, you know, what we used to say, and I still believe we say that they're just not the right fit for who we're looking for.
They're not the right fit. They're not the right fit.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you know,
if they go in the back and they put the bikini on, and then when they come out, you have to bite your knuckles so you don't go, oh my God!
And are you sitting down at a table with the table covering you so that you can't?
Have you ever had an interview and you're sitting by a table and your penis goes like that under the table? Does that ever happen?
Well, I'm almost 40.
And you go like this. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I apologize, Stephanie. But I had our Cialis burger just a few minutes ago, and, you know.
Are you allowed to ask them to remove clothing during the interview?
No.
Not naked, but to see their body. What if they come in with like...
No.
Yeah, no, we ask them to try on our uniform.
Thank you.
A bikini top, jeans, shorts, and cowboy boots.
Is there any weight gain limit once they're hired? Like if they gain 30 pounds once they're hired, are they...
We have consultations with them then.
Oh, you know where you move them? To my chain, Fatties. Fatties. Hi, everybody. Jay Thomas for Fatties. Come on in. You're going to eat a ton of food, and so do our waitresses. You know? Welcome to Fatties. Welcome. And go right up the street to my, I haven't, you've heard of the Tilted Kilt? Do you own that one too, the Tilted Kilt? You own those?
I don't.
Okay, wait a minute. With the single moms, Garrett, the Tilted Cervix. That's the name of the restaurant. Tilted Cervix.
I'm not eating there.
No, you're not eating there?
No.
How about this? Placentas.
No.
These are all bad. Well, look, you've invited us someplace. So, Doug, after the interview's over, we're much like Christina's date. They've acted really nice and they don't call back. So, you know, you think something's going to happen and then it doesn't. But sure, we'll bring Christina. And, Christina, would you wear a bikini and wait on Garrett and I one night at the...
Of course I would.
Well, of course you would.
And you'd get the utmost customer service because don't forget I am a hotel, restaurant, and tourism major.
That's right.
So I am a professional.
Now, listen, I'm willing to up the ante if you're really serious. So July 13th, it's National Bikinis Day, and out at Bikinis, Texas, we're having a celebrity, which I can't mention yet, but if you could imagine what kind of celebrity guys would want to have to come in to be the first inductee into our Bikinis Hall of Fame, you could probably...
It's a guy? You're inducting a guy?
No, the guys want this woman.
Oh, the woman. The woman.
You would be able to nail her in 5
Susan Boyle?
Pam Anderson?
You heard what he said? You'd be able to nail her in 5 minutes.
Pam Anderson.
Lindsay Lohan, if she's easy to... Wait a minute.
I'm not going to mention it. I'm just saying you'll definitely know.
Are you paying a lot of money for her to come there, or is her career in the other direction?
I'm paying a lot of money.
Wow. And who would
Christina would be number 2 inducted in the Bikinis Hall of Fame.
What? I'm not eating any more until July.
So, Doug, hold on a second. Listen, Doug, I guess I'll have to MC the event. Now, we were invited last year to the Heart Attack Grill. You know that place in Las Vegas where people die of heart attacks after
I heard about it.
Okay. Yeah. We have been around, every time somebody drops dead, we have the guy on the air. We've had him on 4 times. We've had 2 patrons and 2 people that work for him died. It's not a joke. And we had him on, and he put together this big presentation and going to fly us to Vegas, and we're going to, right or wrong, Garrett, all that was going to happen.
Correct, yep.
And then he broke our hearts, okay? I don't know what happened. There were protests, that's right, because he was going to have the largest women in the world get on a scale. And if you were over 320 pounds or whatever, you ate for free and the whole thing. Well, there was a protest of some sort. But now, the bikini thing, which includes Christina, and you'll get a mention or two. I can't promise Sirius XM's going to back this wholeheartedly. But, yeah, we would do this. So Christina will give you all the information. And, sure, absolutely. Sounds like a great time. I can't wait to hear, and we'll interview the woman, Miss Bikini, whatever her name is.
Oh, you'll know her.
Now, you're single. Now, are you one of these guys that works around? It's time to put him on the Indie Grill, Garrett. This is when we ask the tough question, Doug, who runs these restaurants, these bikini sports bar and grill places. He was just sitting in Australia. What will last forever? Breasts, sex, beer, and burgers. Here it is. You say you're single. Is that because, Doug, even though you're around women all the time, you really enjoy the company of men? Turn the grill up. Turn the grill up. Doug, a yes-no answer is all we need. Turn the grill up.
I am not gay. There's not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
And my good friends in up east would be laughing their asses off if they heard that.
Right. All right. All right. Well, you know what? I had to ask because you're around all these women. We wonder why one of them didn't nab you. You know what I mean? So
I hear you.
Now hold it a second. Turn the grill up again, would you? I'm sorry. There's another one I have to ask.
Fire that shit up, Garrett.
Doug Geller. Doug, maybe I owe you an apology. You're not in a wheelchair, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
All your babies.
You know what? Thank God, because I really was worried. Sounds like a great guy, and he goes, "No, Jay, I'm not gay, but I lost the use of my legs in a breast crash about 3 years ago when two tits hit me right on the back of my neck and hurt my neck." Hey, Doug, it was fun talking to you. We probably would go out there. We'll have to ask him here at the company, but that sounds like fun. You'll be footing the bill, but we'll work for our food. And Austin, Texas is a great place. All right?
That sounds great. Love to have you guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Hold on, Christina. Give him all the information. I tell you what, Christina, he sounds like a catch.
See, I shouldn't screw it up then?
Well, think about it.
What?
You love hamburgers.
I do.
You love food.
Hamburgers so much.
And you're a smart woman. You graduated in... I almost said radio and television. No, but restaurant, whatever the hell it is, restaurant and television. And this is it. This could be the guy.
And he loves boobs.
And I have boobs.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing.
Sounds like a match made in
He's
heaven.
seen everything. So he'll probably not be like the other guys you're with and probably be true to you for a while.
Right. All right. So stop talking about it because he can hear you and I don't want to be embarrassed.
There you go. Stay where you are. It's the Jay Thomas Show. We're on our way to the Undersea Lodge in a few minutes.
Jay Thomas.
It's the Jay Thomas Show.
It's all about the love. The Jay Thomas Show. Afternoons.
Indy, Sirius XM 104.
Under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore,
I don't know what's happened all of a sudden, but all of these guests all of a sudden, phones have been ringing off the hook. Emails have been coming in. People are starting to notice us. It's a little disconcerting. I rather when I was under the radar, Garrett. This could be real work. I may actually have to, put 5 whole days together. Let's go to the Jules Undersea Lodge in Key Largo, Florida, and let's welcome Ian Koblick to the show. Ian, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you very much. Actually, it's Jan Koblick.
Well, over in this country, we call it Ian.
Well, that's right, they do. And actually, I've gotten used to that.
All right, now wait a minute now. Do you spell it I-A-N?
Yes.
Okay, now look. You wait until the person, I know what kind of person you are, before we even start this interview. I have smelled you out already. You knew I was going to call you Ian, and yet you let me walk. It was like you let me try to get to the lodge without a air tank on my back.
You got it.
Yeah, you let me just fall right off the dock. So your first name, spelled I-A-N, is what now?
It is pronounced Jan, and that's because of my Russian grandmother who refused to say Ian. What can
so you
do?
made you know what's funny, though? Because of that old bitch, the rest of us have to pay. Okay?
That's right. I've had to live with it.
Well, thank you. All right. You know what, Jan? You're my kind of guy already. Jan Koblik, go to J as in Jan. I don't know. U as in uvula. L as in labia.com. JUL.com. Now, I want to say that we've had somebody from the Undersea Lodge before, unless you haven't been around a long time. How long have you guys been in operation?
Well, let's see now. I built the lodge in 1972.
Wow.
So that's how long the lodge has been around, and that's how long I've been connected with it. We put it here as a hotel in 1986.
In September 2nd, 2010, we had Anya Ellis on.
Right. Anya is an instructor with us, a mission director.
All right.
I see. Now, you go to Key Largo, and now Christina is frightened of going underwater, right?
Yes.
So she and I would get there, and you wouldn't tell my wife that I brought another woman with me, would you, Jan?
No, she would probably go over to the Marriott and spend the time over there at Gus's Grill while you were fiddling around in the water.
My wife would go to Gus's Grill at the Marriott and be picking up men, is what you're saying, while I'm fooling around with the woman here at the radio station. Well, you know what, Jan? I mean, you're the most insulting guest I've ever had. Okay.
Well, I apologize for that.
Well, that's all right.
I just didn't want her to be bored.
Well, all right. Anyway, so Christina and I pull up, and I say to you, I can't wait to get into the lodge, but we've got somebody she's a novice. What do you do about that? Do you have a little instruction before she goes down? Yeah, down into the lodge itself, which is how many feet below the surface?
The depth of the lagoon is 30 feet. The lodge depth, the storage depth, is 22 feet. And the answer is yes, that we do. We have about a 3 or 4 hour little mini program that gets you oriented, and then you are taken down with an instructor actually literally holding your hand to take you inside. And then you can stay inside, but you can't go out swimming around as the certified divers can.
Now, if I come there as a certified scuba diver, can I leave the lodge and, I have my certification and all that. Could I leave the lodge and tool around a little bit?
Yes, and of course that's the fun of it. You can go out and make a night dive and, just come back in and have a cup of coffee.
Now, what's the room like? How many rooms and how big is it? What are the accommodations?
Well, if you think of it as a couple of 20-foot camper trailers, sort of bolted together underwater, actually 3 of them. And then in one of them there are 2 bedrooms. In the middle one, that's what we call the moon pool room. That's where you swim in, and there's a shower there and a toilet. And then you go into the common room, which is like a 20-foot trailer living room, but it's all done in sort of Jules Verne style.
And the fish are swimming around windows as you're sitting there? I mean, is it, let's say Christina doesn't ever want to leave the room. I'm outside swimming around. Would she see sharks and eels and things swimming around her?
The answer is there are 42-inch windows.
Wow.
And so you get a beautiful view. We don't have any sharks in the lagoon, but we do have a number of manatees in there now, and that's pretty awesome to be sitting there at the window and have something 3 times your size pull up and be looking in.
You know, I can't believe that you mentioned manatee and I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong about this. I want to say that either Kmart or Walmart or one of these places, one of these big chain stores, I don't know which one, so I apologize. They had a sale for plus-sized women. And one of the outfits they advertised was manatee gray.
It was on Target.
Thank you very much, Garrett. Thank you very much. Let me apologize to Walmart. I was thinking Costco and Kmart. Let me apologize to them now. Manatee Gray, and these huge women came in and they protested. Only 3 of them could get in the store. But they protested because the average size of a manatee is 1,000 pounds. So this 1,000-pound manatee will swim by the window.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, is the water clear enough that you can see, or only like 5 feet in front of you?
Well, it depends on the time of year. When the waters are cooler during the winter and this time of year, we probably have 30 feet visibility.
Wow.
So you can see to the bottom and you can see out at a distance. In the summertime, when the water gets warmer and the plankton starts to bloom, then the visibility really decreases. And that's an unfortunate thing about having it in a small lagoon. However, it allows us to work year round and it's very safe.
How many people can fit into the under? It's the Jules, like Jules Verne.
Yes.
The Jules Undersea Lodge in Key Largo. How many folks can fit in the lodge?
I guess it depends on how friendly you are.
Well, all right. Let's say how many friendly couples could fit into the lodge?
3.
So 6 people.
Yeah.
Now, what do you charge a night?
Let's see.
Give me, you know what? Since I'll come when it's not clear.
Okay.
Give me off season, would you?
A 24-hour stay is about $700.
Wow.
And
for 2 or for 1 each person?
let's see. That's
For what?
for.
How many people? 1 person?
Yeah, I'm looking to see. I don't operate the store, so that's.
That's okay. $700. Wow. If we can get a microphone down there, Garrett, we might have another free trip on our hands. But I don't think
that doesn't sound right. You know, we have like a $395 program and a $400 program.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's cool.
Yeah, and that.
But if you are not registered, but if you are a real underwater diver person, this really is exciting because you're down there already.
Yeah.
And you're out there, you're certified, you're swimming around, and you come back in. And now, how do you get the food? You cook it down there, or you have to bring the food down?
They depends on your package. If you're having lobster and steak, they cook the lobster and steak on the surface. They barbecue it, and then they bring it down in an underwater kinetics case, those little yellow plastic cases.
Wow.
And they put a 40-pound weight on it, and down it comes, and then they heat it up in the microwave.
Wow. And
so you get, included, you get your dinner, you get your breakfast, and then you get unlimited diving. So
well, you're already down there. You don't even have to go anywhere.
You don't have to go anywhere, but you can go out and dive, a half a dozen times.
Now, one of the, we gotta put you on what I call, this is a big day for me. Jan Koblik, whose Russian mother actually wouldn't say Ian, called him Jan. Go to JUL.com. This would be an exciting trip for anybody who's an underwater diver, the Jules Undersea Lodge in Key Largo. Let's put him on the grill, Garrett. This is where I have to ask a tough question of you, Jan.
Go ahead.
One of the biggest fears of hotels are bed bugs. If I were to stay there, or Christine and I, would we have to fear brine shrimp? Huh? What's down there? What sort of thing is down there?
Anytime you're in the water, in the Keys here, you can get brine shrimp.
I just threw that in there.
They're not in your bed.
Okay, good. Well, Jan, this is just great. Thank you very much. And I bet you're booked way ahead. People you only have 6 things. But the crazy thing is, and you've been doing it for 30 years. Have you had a troublesome group that came in there and they got a little rowdy and they wanted to, I don't know what, have crazy sex or something looking
like
out
Steven
at the ocean?
Tyler from Aerosmith when he went there.
He was there. No, he was very well behaved. I've had Cousteau. I had the Premier of Canada, Trudeau.
Really?
I've had Buzz Aldrin.
Wow.
Scott Carpenter. In fact, Scott and I we did a
the astronaut, Scott Carpenter, the famous astronaut.
Yes. Yeah, he's a very close friend, and we went down and we did a sea to space communication when the shuttle was coming over Florida. We talked to Mike Gernhardt from the bottom of the sea.
So you can get a signal, because we're satellite radio, obviously, Sirius XM. So we could get a signal from down there.
Yes.
We broadcast the show.
Are you a diver, really?
Yeah.
Well, you ought to come.
I'm not a great diver, but my kids and I, and we've all vacationed and done this for a lot of years. Lived in Florida and lived in California forever, so it's almost like a rite of passage. But all of us are certified, or we have to re-up our certification or whatever. But I'm not great past 30 feet, to be honest with you. I have ear problems. My ears bleed and they attract sharks. It's always scary for the other people that are with me, you know.
Well, this is, to me, one of the greatest things about it is it's a family affair, that you can go down there and everybody in the family is just as taken back and enjoys it as much, whether they're the younger kids or the parents. And so it's something you can all enjoy really together.
Do you certify upstairs before you go in? Could people come and get certified before they even go in the water?
We have instructors that can certify.
Wow. All right. It sounds great. Well, Jan, thank you very much. Second time you've been on the Jules Undersea Lodge. Now, those manatees, you can't ride them, can you? They don't let you ride them, do they?
No, it's against the law to feed them or ride them or.
Okay. All right.
But come and see us.
I would like to.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
I'll look forward to that.
The Undersea Lodge, Jan. By the way, when you're under there, what's different? Like you talked, is he gone?
No, I got him back.
You got it back?
Yeah.
When you're underwater like this, you mentioned the bathroom or whatever. I mean, are things accentuated under there? Like are bathroom smells worse, better? Is there anything under there, sense of smell or taste or something that changes because you're in a different atmosphere, literally?
You can't whistle at first.
Really?
Because the pressure on your vocal cords is a little different, and you're not.
If you'd have bet me $1 million and given me 2 weeks, I could not have thought of that one. Okay. So I go under there, and I want to, and Christina takes her clothes off, and we're getting ready to, go diving naked. I couldn't go like that.
No, you couldn't.
I couldn't do that.
No, you'd go.
Wow. Wowee. So she'd get a little spit on her. That's about it. All right. Well, thank you very much. So you can't whistle. And what, is there anything else you can't do under there?
A couple of things. When you go deeper, we used to take down cups, styrofoam cups, and a regular 10-ounce styrofoam cup would look the size of a shot glass by the time you got down.
It would keep its shape, though?
Folks,
wait a second. You go down with a styrofoam cup in your hand, and when you get to your room, the thing is the size of a shot glass, but it's still a styrofoam cup.
Yes.
Now, when you get inside, does it grow back up to the styrofoam cup size again?
No. It stays that size.
That's so cool. It's unbelievable. That's so cool.
No, you have to go deeper than 30 feet. The other thing is when you open your Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
It doesn't fizz out. It sucks in. There's no carbon dioxide fizz because.
I love these things. So you open your soda, and now what about that? Do you allow, after you do diving, can you have alcohol down there? Do you allow that?
No, insurance-wise, you can't.
Can't have that. You can't have drunks running around there.
No, you can't have drunks.
All right. Now, when it's all over and nighttime comes, you guys all take off, and you leave the couples, because, that's such an exciting and, it really sounds sexy. You know what I mean? So you leave everybody alone. Making love and the fish are there and everything else. It sounds exciting to me.
It is the closest thing that you can do in the world to being off the planet. To live undersea, the next thing is to go into space. But living in the sea is just prior to going into space. You have this feeling that you are in a different world. It's pretty marvelous. We've spent weeks and weeks on the bottom of the sea, and it was some of the highlights.
You must have like grandpa fingers all the time from being wet.
Yeah, we had a project called Prune.
Look, great talking to you, Jan. Jan Koblik, underwater at the Jules Undersea Lodge in Key Largo, Florida. Can you imagine, Gary, you swim under, you get your little thing, and Shrinks? I'd like that. Can you imagine, all kidding aside, you bring somebody down there and they say, we're going to make love as soon as we get to the lodge. Except when you take your Viagra or whatever, it acts in reverse. Because you're 30 feet under. Good God. Let's go to Charlie, who's in Boston. Yes, Charlie, it's Jay Thomas. How are you?
I'm doing well. Austin, not Boston, but who cares? I was going to ask.
Wait a second. Where are you?
Austin, Texas.
Oh, you're in Austin, Texas. Yes. Okay, go ahead. Do you ever go to that Bikini Bar and Grill? You ever go in there?
Yeah, there's quite a few up and down I-35.
Well, you got to go in there and say something to that guy we had on, because he sounds like
I go in there for work.
For work? What are you, itty bitty titty, inspector?
No, I work for a vodka distillery here in
Get out of here. You don't work for Tito's, do you?
No, I work for the better one, Dripping Springs.
What is it? Dripping
Springs vodka.
If you send me a bottle, I will try it and I will rate it on the air.
I'll be happy to.
Because everybody sends us, we've had bacon vodka, we've had every kind of vodka, every kind of booze sent up here, and we love vodka. So, wow, that's incredible. Jerping, I love the name. Jerping Springs. How many times is it, what do you call it? Is it filtered? Is that right? Is it distilled? How many times?
Well, we use
I don't care.
A different type. Yeah. Okay. Well then, it's
sure.
20 technically.
What?
Yeah, 20 times distilled technically.
Because that's the big thing, how many times it's distilled, right? Kettle One is 4 times, Tito's is 6 times, and now you're 20 times.
Well, yeah, we use a totally different type of pot still than Tito's does, and it's proprietary to us and us alone.
Oh, no, I don't have anything for Tito's. They never sent me any free booze.
Well, stop saying the name.
I'll stop.
They sent me 6 free bottles.
No, they didn't.
They sent a bunch of people at Sirius bottles of Tito's, but no one knows why. All of a sudden, everyone had boxes on their desk.
Really?
Yeah.
That's because I mentioned them.
This was like a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago, pretty exactly when I mentioned it.
Oh, it's the anniversary.
It was like 17 months and 14 days ago. That's pretty close to when I mentioned it.
You're like Mary Lou Henner.
I am. What does she do? She lies?
She can remember every day of her life.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, what day it was. And
you can ask Mary Lou Henner, the poor old actress, what did you have to eat? September 22nd, 1988. She'll tell you exactly what she had to eat that day and who she met with and what happened. Now, if she drinks vodka, she lies. All right. Now, Charlie, what did you call about?
Well, I was calling about the conversation you're having with Jules, and he kept asking everybody if they were scuba diving.
No, Jan. Yeah, the place is Jules. Yeah, Jan. Right.
So I was wondering if it's still called scuba diving when you start from the bottom of the ocean.
Yes, you idiot, because you dive out of the thing, and it's deep. It's still diving. It's 100 feet deep. The thing is just hanging there by chains.
Okay.
What have you been drinking all day?
Yes, sir.
When you go in to see Doug at the bikini place, you tell him that we had Doug on a few minutes ago.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I totally missed that.
He was our guest about 45 minutes ago. Right.
Oh, sorry.
We had him on. He's going to fly us out there for the big contest. And now, well, that's fine. Now we'll sign you up as one of the sponsors.
Great.
Okay. Christina, take all of his information. Put him on hold. Garrett, we are going underwater. We got vodka. We got bikinis. This is the most unbelievable day of radio I've ever had. Hold on. Our next guest in a few minutes is he gay? It's a gay guy.
No.
He's straight.
I don't know.
He lives.
But I don't think it has anything to do with him.
He lives across, or he has the house across the street from those horrifying people from the Westboro Baptist Church. Right?
He found out about the Westboro Baptist Church and was like, where is their actual church? And went on Google Maps and started spinning, like walking around the block on his computer, and noticed the house across the street was for sale.
Wow.
So he bought it up and, decided to
painted it penis flesh colored?
But apparently all the church members, or a lot of them, live in this town and own all the houses, so he runs into them, walking their dogs and stuff like that.
I can't wait to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that we want to fly there.
No.
And do anything. I tell you what, if we get drunk enough in Austin, I'll just go, come on, let's go fly to my friend's house by Westboro. We just go there with bikini-clad women, start yelling at the guy across the street, Hey, by the way, God hates assholes, too. Yeah. That'd be funny. When he has the God hates fag signs up, we put God hates assholes, too. I'm always thinking of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll never do it. We're not like that guy. As soon as this show is over, I won't even know I said that.
It's hard to write assholes on a sign now. It's a lot of letters.
We would do it in a language. Yeah, I'd do it in a language that they didn't understand. God hates Ogunzaks, or something like that. Let's go to Peter, who is in Missouri. Yes, Peter, it's Jay Thomas. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jay, I've been noticing every time you have a guest on, it's Garrett, when he jumps in with his questions seems like they're more relevant to what the interview was supposed to be about.
I disagree.
Well, let me tell you something. I've noticed it, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Point that out.
Well, you don't have to point it out. It's pretty obvious. And I think Garrett maybe has hired a writer. We're not sure. But he wasn't this bright about, 3 years ago, and then suddenly he's Mr.
Suddenly Christina showed up.
Well, there you go. You know what it is? Trying to impress you. Do we have time to run the greatest sports announcer in America from Lafayette, Louisiana? Do we have time?
We got like 2 minutes.
Yeah, let's run it. Do you have it ready to go? I started talking about this earlier. When you're in Louisiana, and I've said these things, I've said there are words that people use down south, but especially down here, and they don't know that the term is inappropriate. They really don't know it. So this sports announcer is on a television station in Lafayette talking about the 14-year-old kid from China that made the cut for the Masters and what he was doing. And so he doesn't have like a Southern accent or a Cajun accent, which Lafayette, Louisiana has. He has a regular sports announcer accent, and he's giving the sports report about the Masters with the Chinese kid. You have
a little later on, 14-year-old Chinaman Tianlang Guan penalized a stroke for slow play. He finished at 4 over, made the cut.
Play it again. He does not know that that's incorrect. Play it again.
And then, a little later on, 14-year-old Chinaman Tianlang Guan penalized a stroke for slow play. He finished at 4 over, made the cut.
Wow. But you know what I mean by he has a, like a, what I mean? Like a regular sports announcers,
Yeah, I didn't feel anything racist in that.
But Chinaman is bad.
I know, but you could just tell in the tone of his voice and stuff that
he thinks that's a normal term.
Yeah.
Right. Wait till he has to talk about Stuart, what's his name? Sink or Clinker? That other golfer?
Yeah,
his last name is Stuart Sink, yeah. All right.
Jay Thomas.
It's the Jay Thomas Show.
Afternoons. The Jay Thomas Show.
It's the show that the average listener would do if they could do their own radio show.
Sirius XM 104.
Imagine all the people living for today.
Years and years ago, when I first came to Sirius, before even we merged with XM, I find these crazy people to book, and I saw this church was promoting God Hates Fags. And we called them up, and the old guy and Reverend Phelps, and I want to say his granddaughter, said they would come on the show. So we bring him on the show. I think we replay that every now and again, don't we, Garrett?
Yeah, we played it about a few months ago.
Yeah. So it's become like a mainstay, and they were totally nuts, in this little church. And at the end of the interview, his granddaughter, I was saying stuff like, everybody should love everybody, and especially if you're a godly person, and to use the term fag. And he was saying, all that, spiteful stuff that they were saying. At the end, his granddaughter said to me, now remember, I think she's an attorney. Like 4 or 5 of his kids are attorneys.
Yeah.
She said, "Your God is in your rectum." That was the famous quote. We should use that as a drop. These are the drops that ensure that I'll never get a job anyplace else. So what sort of show would you do over here at CBS, Jay? Well, here's one of my drops. God's in your rectum. Well, I don't think we are interested in having you. Where's that Ryan Seacrest guy? Is he around? But anyway, so these are horrifying people. And what they're saying is because of our nation's acceptance of gays, not gay marriage, just the acceptance, or any kind of immoral life, people that are killed, soldiers that are killed, anyone that dies that is, well known, it's God doing it because of our gayness. I believe in that interview that I might have asked him if he didn't have, or I tried to call him back maybe, and do you have a son that's gay or something that's driven you crazy or whatever? And they hung up. So one day, they were burying a soldier, and I went on the air, and we have a lot of truckers that listen, and I'm not going to for 1 second take credit for this, but between the God hates fags, and it was carried by a lot of people, signs, and the funeral of the dead soldier, truckers came and lined their trucks up and blocked the view. And then they went to the Supreme Court, who cannot stop them. For whatever reason, they have to stay 100 yards away or whatever. But anyway, just recently, I was looking around, and I saw that the house across the street from the church was painted in the rainbow colors of equality or, gay pride or whatever. And we have Aaron Jackson in the studio. Aaron, welcome. What is the house that you bought? The house it's directly across from the Westboro Baptist Church, and it is in Kansas. Is that where it is?
Yes, literally right in front of it.
So you decided to buy a home across from this horrible bigot in this crazy little town. What's the name of the town?
Topeka, Kansas, the capital.
That's a big city.
Yeah, more or less.
What neighborhood are these people in?
Westboro. I mean, it's literally, the house is probably located about 5 minutes from the Capitol building.
So the neighborhood it's the Westboro Baptist Church. The neighborhood is Westboro. And you found what, on a Google map or something, that the house was available?
Yeah, I was just, on Google Earth, just looking at their compound. I did not go on that with the intent to purchase a house. I was just kind of roaming.
Were you looking to send a missile their way?
No, allegedly, just checking it out. Yeah, allegedly, yes.
Allegedly going to send a missile. You were going to send over a drone that would shoot sperm on top of Reverend Phelps.
Yeah, something like that.
You know what? I've been developing, and I almost have it ready to go. I have a 2-ton sperm bomb that's ready to go.
Well, there you go. Now we know who to
call.
Well,
the problem is getting enough sperm. You know what I'm saying? At my age, hard to get a lot of sperm. So we're filling it with, yogurt and other things that we're, using stuff. But anyway, so what would make you go on to look for where the church is? I mean, are you from that area?
No, I live in the city, New York City, and I also live in Florida half the year. I was just sitting in my house in Florida, and I was just kind of I kept reading the story about a young boy named Joseph Miles who counter-protested the church, and someone took a picture of that, and the picture went viral, and I kept reading that story, and that's kind of what just like everybody else in this country, you read about the Westboro all the time, if they cough, the media will cover it. And I just was curious of where they were located, and I saw they were located in Topeka, and Google Earth popped up on my screen, and, just wanted to see where it was located. And as I was walking down...
Were you stoned? Were you sitting one night at your computer, and you were... I mean, it's okay. This is, satellite radio. We don't care anything about, it's okay. Well, you're just stoned sitting around going, hey, I wonder where that God hates fags guy lives. You know what I mean? That's how you talk when you're stoned, by the way.
Yeah.
Was that it?
No, that was not it.
Huh.
But yeah, I was in literally, on Google Earth, you can literally walk down the street, and as I was sitting in front of their house, I just did a little 360 and I saw a for sale sign in the home right in front of it, and that's kind of where I got the idea. When I saw that, I basically told myself, no friggin' way. And I knew right away I was going to buy the home. And
now wait a minute, when you see the house across the street, you immediately decide that you're going to buy the home. What kind of number are we talking about that you decided within seconds you were going to buy the house across from this, in my opinion?
I mean, right away. Not even a number, right away. And
really? Were you going to put a group together, or are you a member of some sort of a group of individuals?
I run a charity, Planting Peace. We do many things around the world. Our mission is simply peace, and we just do whatever we can to help further that. We have orphanages all around the world, deworming initiatives, rainforest conservation programs, and now we are out there.
So you're like a do-gooder.
Philanthropist?
Something like that.
I'm sorry. You know what? This guy, Garrett, that's in the studio with you, I used to just ask all the questions and get the laughs and everything else. Last, year or so, he's been actually doing things, some interesting things and stuff. I couldn't think of philanthropist, so I said do-gooder. I meant that. I didn't mean that as an insult. I just couldn't remember the word philanthropist. I know how to spell it. F-I-L.
Hey, do-gooder's good. I'll take it.
T-H-E.
Now, what made you think the house would be for sale?
L.A.
Looking at Google Maps, because those are really dated.
Yeah, I know it's outdated. I did not know that at the time. I just saw the for sale sign right in front of it. And that's right where I got the idea.
Pissed. P-I-S-S-E-D.
But I did call a realtor, and the realtor...
Philanthropist. That's how you spell it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So you're a philanthropist, and you knew right away you'd buy it. And you mean you had the idea immediately. You're going to buy it and you're going to do something that would piss them off.
Yes.
Wow. But the way you piss them off is with kindness.
Absolutely.
That's what Jesus did.
Absolutely.
I mean, a guy walks up to Jesus and knocks the shit out of him. He goes like this, I'll turn the other cheek. You have any idea how much that pissed that Roman soldier off? Can you imagine? There's nothing that you hate more than when you're doing something really evil and someone's kind to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Yeah. You're doing something really bad, and they go, okay, go ahead. I still love you. A lot of guys listening right now, they know that from stuff they've done in bed that they know they shouldn't have done.
Oh, gosh.
That was evil. I'm sorry. Now, Aaron,
like a dark turn.
Give me the number. What did you pay for the house across from the Westboro God Hates Fags Evil Reverend Phelps Church? What'd you pay?
We paid $83,000, which is about fair market price for the community, for the neighborhood. Considering there's a hate group across the street, I tried to get the price lower, but unfortunately, my negotiating skills.
I'm a licensed realtor, and you do have to announce in the closing agreements if there is anything about the house, like if someone died there or there was a suicide or a leak in the basement or anything, and you must announce in your disclosures if there is something that would disturb you that you after you bought it. And so did the realtor say to you, hey, by the way, the God Hates Fags church is across the street? Did they disclose that?
Yes, I mean the realtor that I hired on was fully aware of what I was trying to do.
Full priced offer. What about the people that were selling the house? Were they doing it because of the bad publicity of being in that neighborhood?
Oh, I mean, I assume. I never had a conversation with them. But, my opening bid was $40,000 on an $83,000 house. I said, what the hell? And, but, they came back at actually 85.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You're
we
quite
went
a
up
negotiator.
I'm quite the negotiator.
Man, that's crazy. Now,
But I did get a new roof. I just want to go ahead and throw that out there. New roof on the building.
You know, I would be thinking that were they people that believed in the guy and just figured another believer would buy the house?
No, you know, the church owns 20 houses in the direct neighborhood,
I knew
but
that, yeah.
my house, my direct neighbor's house are not, you know, they're not members of the church, and I don't believe the person that was living in the house before was also a member of the church.
How about your neighbor? They're all for the pride flag house, and they have no problem with that.
So yes, you know, that was a concern from the very beginning. You know, we wanted to make it aesthetically pleasing for everybody. You know, we didn't know if we were breaking any ordinances or not. We did check on that, but you know, with ordinances, and you know, unfortunately, you know, the Westboro Baptist Church are savvy people, so they could have forced the city into dusting off some ordinance from 100 years ago that says you can't paint your house a rainbow.
Well, wait a minute. Their family is filled with lawyers.
Yes,
like his daughters, sons, grandchildren. I mean, it's pretty amazing, and their lives are dedicated to defending, or some of them are, that stand. So now you buy it there. You hired local painters, a local contractor, and everything else, and you told them you wanted to paint it a rainbow color, correct?
Right. My mother,
what did that person say?
Well, actually, I mean, that was a problem in itself, because first of all, we couldn't tell many people what we were doing. We didn't want the media to find out. We didn't want the city to find out, and of course we didn't want the Westboro Baptist Church to find out, because you know, we didn't want them to put any like stop and desist orders on us or whatnot. So we were very selective in who we told. But obviously, when you're hiring a painting company to come in, we kind of had to let them know what we were doing, especially considering that we were going to alert the media that morning, and you know, it wasn't going to be your typical paint job. And plus, we needed to make sure that they were able, you know, that they had the ability to do what we were asking. But every time we told someone we were painting it the color, we never said pride flag. We just said, hey, in this rainbow color theme. And P.S. we're across the street from the Westboro Baptist Church. We had 5 companies said they would do it, and then they literally just walked away from the deal.
Would they charge you to paint the house? It's a custom job.
We paid, I think.
I'm all about money. Can you tell? I'm all about money.
I can tell. And
yeah, I'm really into money.
Roughly $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
They did an awesome job.
Yeah, I think it was
my mother's an artist, and she's kind of who came up with the color patterns. So, yeah. We like to think it looks
now,
good.
what I saw was, cause I have an electric blue VW Beetle, right? From like 25 years ago, whatever. It's old. But I have an electric blue Beetle that I really love. You put a Beetle on the front grounds that said, what is it?
Yeah, fag bug. Well,
fag bug. I died laughing, but I thought maybe it was Photoshopped.
No.
Did you really paint a beetle and put fag bug on the side?
Yeah, that beetle is actually a separate project. That has nothing to do with our organization. There's a girl named Erin who runs a nonprofit called Fag Bug, and she more or less just travels around in that bug, educating people about hate crimes. She was a victim of a hate crime herself. Someone wrote fag on the side of her car, and she couldn't get it removed right away. And she noticed that, you know, it evoked conversation or whatnot. So she just started traveling the country. You can actually go to Netflix and watch a documentary on it.
Fagbug.com?
Fagbug.com.
I just sent you the email address.
So now you buy the house. Is your group the owner, or are you the singular owner?
No, Planting Peace owns the home.
Okay. So now you painted it. What's the inside look like?
Well, it's not as pretty as the outside.
Okay. So you don't care about the inside.
Yeah,
you
well, we're trying to get there. We're trying to get there. But
now,
it's not there
you could open there. I mean, you could open some sort of not a clinic, but you could open some sort of a place where people who were bullied or discriminated against, I don't know what, a safe house or whatever. But if you wanted to, is it a commercial property or is it strictly a residential property?
Yeah, it's zoned R1 residential. You know,
okay.
when I saw that, home for sale, on Google Earth, my first thing I was going to make it into a gay rights museum.
Yeah.
But the R1's zoning got me a little bit, so I had to back off of that. But right now we're just using as a center to allow volunteers or whatnot to live in the home. That will help us get our national anti-bullying program lifted off the ground. So like all the funds that we're raising goes to all the funds that we raise through the publicity and whatnot. We're putting into anti-bullying initiatives.
Now, what about Reverend Phelps and his evil family? They're now aware of it. They've seen it. They're across the street. They own a bunch of houses for their minions. Well, what's he saying?
Well, Fred, I don't think anyone's actually seen Fred Phelps in probably 6 months. But, the main figureheads over there are like Steve Drain, and Shirley Phelps. But yeah, I saw Shirley Phelps was in the front, the very first day she came over and was taking pictures, and we asked her what she thought. And, she said that she thought our colors were pretty. So we were pretty happy to hear that.
Isn't that, I have to tell you that I've always been amazed at the media's fascination with hate. And they cover hate exclusively. And the guy who burned, we had him on the air, the guy that burned the Koran, this stupid guy down in Florida who has like 9 members of a church, and people are murdered and killed over his burning of the Koran or barbecuing it or whatever. We have had Fred Phelps on and everything else. And when you really look at how many parishioners they have, they're very few, And I mean, maybe I help with that, but we at least make fun of it, But the media covers hate in such a big way. Have you been on CNN or Fox? Have they shown a picture of the house and the fag bug? Have they shown that?
I'm not sure if they've shown a picture of the fag bug, but they've shown it. Yes. I mean, we've probably been on CNN 5 times.
What about Fox?
Yes.
Okay, good. I mean, because listen, as much as people say about them, they're not dumb, and they, I think you ought to get booked on O'Reilly. He'd love talking about this. I mean it.
Yeah,
he would. And he's got the biggest numbers of anybody.
Yeah, he has not sent us an invite yet.
So Shirley said, was she nice to you? Did she say hello?
Yeah, that's what's funny about this is they're actually very, very nice people. I actually ran into her, I moved into the house 2 months before we painted. We kind of were like living undercover.
You slept there. You actually slept there.
Yes. Yes, that's right. Now, I stay in the house.
Now, can I assume that you were gay?
No. You can assume that if you want, but I am not gay.
So you're not gay?
Yes, not gay.
But you're into making sure there's no bullying. Are you thin? Were you bullied for being thin?
I am thin. I don't know if I don't think I was bullied for being thin.
Well, I was a bully, so as soon as somebody was thin, I bullied them.
He's a little short and stuff.
Yeah, I'm short. I'm stocky and short.
Yeah.
You were thin, I bullied you right away. The new kid would come into class. I'd been beaten up by some of the larger guys, and a thin guy came to school, and I would pinch his nipples as soon as he came into the class.
There you go.
I dated one of those guys for 6 months. But that's before I knew I was going to, enjoy the company of women. But, it's not about me. So Aaron Jackson bought the house. Go to plantingpeace.org. You can actually give money to that, see pictures of it and everything else. I mean, this is real action. I mean, it's really unbelievable. Let me congratulate you. I think it's terrific. It's funny. It's a funny way to cover a very sad thing that's, happening, all over the place. And what's crazy is here they are kind of nice to you, and yet they'll all get in a van and go to a funeral of a soldier or, somebody wonderful.
Baby
and
or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. The death of a child.
You keep your enemies close, though. Maybe that's what they're doing. Is they're just
but they're the kind
close.
They would drive to
strike.
Sandy Hook or whatever it is while they're burying these children, and they would do God Hates Fags. I mean, they are awful people. And yet here they are waving at you. I wonder if you'll ever have a real dialogue with them.
Yeah, I don't think so. They'll be nice in the street, but 5 minutes later after saying hello, we'll see a tweet that comes over that says, some pretty vile stuff or whatnot. So
has anyone vandalized the house?
No one's vandalized our house.
Hard to ruin those colors. I'm sorry, Garrett. Hard to ruin those colors. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have roughly between 200 and 500 visitors a day that stop by the house and offer their support.
Well, what are the cops saying?
In front of it.
Are you causing a traffic problem?
No, the cops have come out a couple of times, but nothing against us. They came out probably about 5 days ago because a group called Journey for Justice showed up. And probably maybe 50 to 100 guys on motorcycles, and they were making a lot of noise in the in the community.
They were against you?
No, not against us. It's something against the Westboro Baptist Church that they do every year. But then, they bring their American flags, and then we allowed them to come on our property, because you're actually not allowed to picket in front of the home or in front of the church due to an ordinance.
Yeah, they can go places.
They can go everywhere, but you can't. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Now, why didn't the Supreme Court say you can picket it across the street from their place? I'm shocked.
Yeah, it is pretty shocking, but we allowed the protesters to come on our property because you can protest from a private residence. And it just so happened, oddly enough, we had another group that stopped by. We probably had roughly about 200 people in the front yard. A running group came by, and it was about maybe 100 guys dressed as women.
Wow.
They were just doing a run and drinking beer along the way, and they made our spot a stopping point. Yeah, so it's pretty...
Do these people bring food? I mean, do they just show up at your place? Like, hey, we're crashing here for a minute.
Yeah, but everything. I mean, the community's support to us has been, we've been very humbled by all the...
Do you ever get tired of it? Like, you're just home and you're in your pajamas and you just want to go to sleep, but no, there is a picket.
Yeah, it's pretty, we see it all. I've seen, there was a naked picket about a couple weeks ago.
Not so bad.
Believe it or not, yeah.
Picket.
There's no decent exposure laws in Kansas. There you go.
And, Kansas says, masturbation is abortion. I don't know if you know that or not. You can, as soon as you come, you've aborted something. They'll put you in jail. They'll tie you up. They actually tie you to a calf or something and sell you as a piece of meat in Kansas City. It's a weird place, and they teach creationism in the schools, and they really believe the earth is 6,000 years old. So you're in an area where they're not as far gone as God Hates Fags, but it is a very, very conservative community where I don't think gay people feel comfortable.
Actually, yeah, what's very odd is that a kind of phenomenon that's happening, I think, is that the community does not want to be associated with that church, to the point that I actually believe Topeka is a pretty gay-friendly place, believe it or not.
Wow.
There's gay bars and everything.
How about if we fly there, because we've been invited to go to an underwater hotel today. We've also been invited to Austin, Texas, to drink vodka at a bikini bar. I'd like to fly to Topeka and take Christina with me and Garrett will blow me on the front lawn.
Finally, I don't have to do it.
No, you wouldn't have to do it. How now? And I know you said earlier that you weren't gay. Let me announce now that Garrett and I have been lovers for the last 19 months.
That's why we're doing this. We're doing this for you. Protect your right.
Because I just got these. I got these incredible knee pads from Topco, which is we only buy our sex toys from Topco. And so what would that would be indecent exposure? That would get us in real trouble, wouldn't it? Yeah. How about if he put in his pants a fake penis? You know what I mean? They look real. And I went down on him right over there.
I say go for it.
How about this?
And
do it.
Why is it?
Wait a minute.
Film it.
And Christina, you have a sign that says, God hates fags that don't swallow.
Okay.
How about that?
You got it.
Look, you know what
I'll
I
wear
am?
a sandwich board.
I'm a bully who's changed his stripes, and now I can be friendly to those who were bullied by using my bullying tactics for good.
Okay.
Huh? Yeah.
Remarkable.
Aaron, you're always quiet when I say something that you don't know what to say. First of all, we've had people on today that just saw something and decided to do it, that you looked at that house and said, I'm buying that, and offered $40,000 for an $83,000 house is pretty funny. And the people come back. One time, there was a beautiful little home, and the kids were really little, and it was expensive. And so it was really overpriced, but we really loved this little cottage and everything else. And my wife and I had the two little kids, and I'm sitting with the realtor, and I said, God, we'd love to have the kids there and everything else, but the woman won't come off the price, He says, look, write her a letter about like what you just said to me, and give me a snapshot of you and your wife and the boys, and I'm going to present her your new offer and show them this letter about how you feel about the house. She's an older woman. She's moving into a home or whatever. I take the picture. I write this heartfelt letter. She came back full price. That's the truth. Full price. And I said to the realtor, that didn't work. He says, no, not at all. He said, she looked at the letter, she looked at the picture, and I said, did she make fun of my family? He goes, no, didn't make fun of it, but put it down and said, sorry, full price. So, I know how rough it can be. So did they realize that they had a hot one on the line and knew you were from New York, buying it for, surreptitious reasons?
Yeah, truthfully, I don't know what they knew. They fly an American flag on an industrial-sized flagpole upside down along with a pride flag, and we wanted to counter that, so we put up a flagpole the same height, and we put that in about a week before we painted the home. And when they saw that flagpole go up, I think they knew something was up. We caught them in our yard a couple times taking pictures or whatnot. I don't know why. If they were
who were they going to send the pictures to? They were going to mount some sort of illegal thing?
Well, maybe they thought we were violating some sort of ordinance or whatever. But, I mean, they're very, very big flagpoles, so they knew something was coming. It's not your normal.
Uh-huh.
So, and we fly the American flag and the pride flag up, the correct way. And, just so I think everybody should know, when you fly a pride flag upside down, that's actually a sign that you're coming out. It's actually not offensive. So
that's really great.
And, I think someone should tell them that, or unless they just have something to say.
Well, Equality House is what you're calling it, and is that right?
Yes, sir.
Equality House. Go to planningpeace.org, and you can give money to that. Now, do they allow on the front lawn, would they allow artwork? A lot of communities, like we've had people on who had those cut the big 18-wheeler tires in half and painted them white and put toilets and stuff in their front lawn. We've had the people on that the neighbors complained about because they didn't consider it art. You should find out what the ordinance is, because I think the front lawn should have tribute artwork. You'd have a statue of Liberace. You'd have one of Richard Simmons. You'd have Ellen DeGeneres and one of the most famous gay people in Hollywood, Porky Pig. You would have them, I'm not joking, you would have them on the front lawn. I think a tribute to gay entertainers, famous gay people. Would they let you do that?
We can see. We'll see.
Now, you know what, Aaron? You have yet to take any of my ideas.
They're good ones.
No, they're not. And this pausing, this dead air, what we call in radio, this dead air pausing, has been an insult to me. You're bullying me in a way. You're intellectually bullying me. And I spelled philanthropist, phonetically for you earlier. So
that's impressive. That was impressive.
Aaron Jackson, cool. And then now, are you paid to be a do-gooder? I mean, is it a paying job?
No, I'm a full-time volunteer.
And what do you do for a living?
This is actually just what I do. I've done this I'm the founder of the charity, and I've been doing this roughly for 9 years.
But how do you eat? How do you eat? Do you take money out of the till and go buy a burger? Is that how you feed yourself? I mean, really, how do you pay your rent and all that?
Oh, well, I'm fortunate. My mother lets me live in her beach house, and they just support me here and there, allow me to do what I want to do.
So when your parents, they say, how's Aaron? Well, he's a philanthropist, and he just bought a home across from the most horrible bigots in Kansas. You know the God hates fags people? I do. Aaron lives in their neighborhood now. Okay? Is that how your parents have to talk about you?
No, I mean, they love it. Like I said before, my mother is the one who came up and helped me paint the home, so.
Wow.
Oh, he also conserves rainforests, opens orphanages, and has deworming programs.
Okay, look. If you were, how old are you? Can I ask how old you are?
Of course you can. 29. Oh, no, I'm not 29. I'm 31.
You could be my son, let's say that. And if you lived in my house, this is what you'd hear upstairs. You know what he does? He's a fucking do-gooder, okay? He's living downstairs. He's a fucking do-gooder. And my wife, he bought that. I know, and you helped him paint it and everything else. When is he going to bring some money into our family? Do you at least have a father that does that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. You know what? And you have to have somebody like that in your family, even though I know you don't like it and your mother fights with him. I'm telling you right now, you've got to have a pragmatist in your family because it's the way the world works. All right?
All right. Ever get you look like Steve Nash?
No.
Oh, no. Wow.
How about this one? When your dad found out what you did, this is what he did. He bought what? I know you heard that one. Aaron, congratulations.
Thank
you
you.
did a great thing. People go to planningpeace.org. You're a terrific guy. You present your position really well, and you're one of the, most interesting do-gooders I've ever met. I've given you the Liberace, Richard Simmons, Ellen DeGeneres, Porky Pig, art thing. You can have it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have that idea. Okay.
Wow, you're a philanthropist now.
Yeah.
I am. If there's any action, that's what I do. Any action around that house, anything at all happens, please, get in touch with Garrett or Christina, and we want to hear about it. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. Plantingpeace.org, the great Aaron Jackson. And remember, God likes fags.
The Jay Thomas Show.
We make you feel better about yourself.
It's the Jay Thomas Show. Afternoon. 80. Sirius XM 104.
Somebody sent me a funny little email. They said, what guests do you turn down? And I guess they mean,
Oh, God, I could go through 100 of them.
Yeah, I turned down a lot. I think they're saying, it looks like you talk to everybody. No, we turned down, I just turned down the other day. This woman had breast cancer. This is going to sound awful to everybody. And something or other. And she wrote a book called My Parent Has Cancer and It Really Sucks. That's the name of the book. I hate shit like that. Okay? I hate shit like that. And why? Well, we've had cancer in my family. My wife had cancer and all the horrifying stuff, right? We went to the kids. The kids were like 8 and 10 or something like that. I drew pictures of their mom's breasts and showed them the surgery and what was happening and everything else. Now, you may go, oh, well, that's fucking weird. No, they were all nervous. My wife gets, diagnosed, and now all kind of horrifying stuff begins to happen. The chemotherapy, the removal of the breast, the sadness, the mothers, the friends, everything else. And the kids are scared, right? Kids are scared. You have to be an idiot not to know how to sit down and discuss it with your children, but to write a book, My Parent Has Cancer, and It Really Sucks. And so I look at this thing, and she's a young woman, and she had little kids, or she wrote it because her mother had cancer, and you know what she says about it? She found it hard to be around her mother. She didn't like that her mother had cancer. I wouldn't have this woman on the show. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if one of my kids had said to me, I don't like being around Mom with that cancer, Page 2, slap the shit out of him. How does that sound? What are you, nuts?
Well,
What?
My mom had skin cancer on her nose.
Yeah.
And they had to cut a piece of skin from her forehead and leave it attached, but cut it like loose and then fold it down to the tip of her nose. And then they used that skin to grow back the tip of her nose.
Would you go around the horn with me, please, just by myself? I want you to ask me this question. What do you think I said when I saw the skin?
Jay, what do you think I said when I saw the skin fold of forehead sewed onto my tip of my mom's nose?
You're not going to drop me off at school looking like that, are you? Oh, I bet you that's it. What did you say? Am I even close to what you was?
I was out of school at the time,
Oh, thank God.
but it was a little uncomfortable that month to hang out with her whenever I did because it was just right in your face. You couldn't.
Did you always
avoid it.
say you have a little something on your nose?
Was it like having a turkey for a parent? You know, when the turkey moves, that meat flaps around? I don't know.
Now, here's another guest pitch sent to us.
What?
When does your tire lose its warranty?
Oh, I know. We get shit that's so ridiculous, and they say they listen to the show all the time. They listen to the show.
You should see the books upstairs on Garrett's desk. Boring.
Yeah, I know. Well, after the explosion, we were offered every ex-FBI guy, every ex-CIA agent to come on and to say, well, we have no clues, don't know who did it, like that. And I said to Andrea, I go, I don't want them on there. Nobody knows anything, I don't know, nothing. I don't want that. But my parent has cancer and it sucks. So one of the things is you don't want to be seen with your parent while they have cancer. Teens describe feelings of being overwhelmed by their new adult responsibility. Jay, I would like to talk to you about parentification of your teen. You're dying of cancer, or your husband has cancer, or your wife has cancer, and you're really dealing with it, and now you have to turn to your teen and turn them into a parent? Are you kidding? Some teens are annoyed that their parent no longer is able to drive them to the mall, or angry that their friends look at them with pity eyes. Did anybody look at you with pity eyes, Karen?
Not that I remember, no. Pity eyes.
I mean, by the way, my parent has cancer and it sucks. That's called normal emotions. That's just called normal.
That's what I was going to say. It's supposed to suck.
Yeah. Every boy that I interviewed whose mom had cancer had punched a hole in the wall. Hey, look, I have two sons. I don't remember anybody balling their fist up. You know what they do, these psychological things? They interview complete nuts. That's what they do. They just find that 1%. There's a thing called the bell curve. And you do it when you're, in testing or whatever. You throw out everybody at the bottom and you throw out everybody that's unbelievable at the top, and you have the middle, right? All of these are at the extreme of the bell curve. Let me see if you felt like this. Did you feel jealous, Garrett, at all the attention that your mother was getting?
Definitely not. I felt bad for her.
There's a person in here, and their last name, her name is Elisa Bantug. That's her name, okay? Elisa Bantug says her mother's cancer and parents' subsequent divorce prompted her to act out. I had no supervision, said Bantug. First thing I would do is change my last name from Bantug.
Or become a groupie.
Something. Wow. She would say when she was...
like this guest. I mean,
you're
on it for like 5 minutes.
No, I wouldn't know what I would. You know what? It would be we've had women on before. No, the woman from this was on the Howard 101. The woman came on to tell men how to get along with Japanese women, right?
Yes, I remember.
We had her on. We made fun of her. We talked to her. She went completely nuts. Mm-hmm. And then some of our listeners pretended, or did they hack into our?
No, they just sent a fake email that looked.
They sent fake emails calling her horrific names and blaming it on Garrett and I, right? Right? And so, yeah, I mean, no, I don't want to have her on, and she's, the woman that wrote this is like 26 years old, and she's an idiot, right? She's a complete idiot, and either her mother had cancer or whatever. Here's the final one. Some kids feel guilty because they wish it was the other parent who had the cancer.
Whoa.
What? I'm going to tell you something. Is this like Jeffrey Dahmer's family? Who are we talking about? Really?
I mean, I couldn't stand my mother growing up because I was just a teenager, but I'd never wish I'd never wish her to have anything over my father, and that's terrible. You should go straight to hell for that.
Well, what's weird is, I know plenty of people whose children have had, cancer. Now, we're not a member of any of those groups or doing any of that marching and all that stuff. But, you meet these people. I don't remember anybody doing anything like that. So that's why I'd never have them up. Another woman wanted to come on. Maybe I will have this woman on. She's proven that circumcision does reduce a man's risk of HIV. Her name is Dr. Cindy Liu, Liu. Now, Christina, this is how she describes it. She says that the skin on the foreskin, we've talked about this at length.
At length.
She says this: has anyone ever lifted a rock and watched as the earth beneath it was quickly vacated by legions of bugs and tiny worms? They would be familiar with the principle of cutting the foreskin away, because masses of genital bacteria that once existed beneath it end up disappearing. Now, I may have to have her on, right, Garrett? I may have
yes,
to.
Please, we have to go into
maybe,
this.
you know what? We might have to have her debate. Let's go to Wayne, who is in Topeka, Kansas. Please tell me, Wayne, that you've driven by, Equality House, across the street from the God Hates Fags Westboro Baptist Church.
Hey, Jay, how you doing, buddy? You've been around a long time, Jay. You cannot tell me that guy lives in a rainbow house, deworms people in the Amazon, and lives in his mom's bungalow and has to suck the cock.
He did not look like a cocksucker to me.
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm sure. Well, all right, get rid of this. Get rid of this guy. You're exactly who they raise money to send the sperm bomb to, okay? You're a bigot, you're a bully, and so you had your moment, My God. In Nevada, they proposed a 10% tax on strip club dancing. And the ACLU came to the road to the aid of the strippers. You cannot have a special tax at a First Amendment activity based on content, said Alan Lichtenstein. Adult entertainment is protected by the First Amendment. This First Amendment, I just don't believe the founding. Can you imagine, Mr. Adams? Yes. The First Amendment. Oh, free speech. I'd like you to look at my wife's tits and see if that fits in. They would go crazy. They would go nuts. If you dug them all up and showed them an AK-47 that shot 1,000, rounds in a minute.
You think so?
They would go crazy. How about this, Garrett?
But in their lifetime, weapons advanced. So they would assume that it would keep advancing through our lifetimes, no?
You can't imagine one day all cars will be driven without a driver. You're going to get in. I mean, we're talking about it, making jokes about it. One day there will be rocket ships all over there is stuff we can't imagine, right? They didn't even talk about that stuff back then. I mean, they weren't positive the earth was really that round. They weren't positive.
That's a good point.
It is a good point. I mean, they were educated from 1945 to 1960, this is the truth, the knowledge of the world doubled. It doubled. From 1960 to 1980, it doubles again, and then the computer hit a few years later. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, look, when you really look at the NRA, you're looking at a group of individuals that, showed people how to use guns and all, but they were highly interested in regulation. It was only until these local recent guys, hijacked it. I mean, the NRA was formed like in the 20s and 30s and helped draft the Uniform Firearms Act, which expanded control of guns at a state level.
Wow.
I mean, people don't listen. In 1876, I had this on a test, so I know all of it.
Okay.
1886 and 1894, the Supreme Court decisions ruled that there was no individual right to bear arms, only the right to form a militia. That's exactly what it says. And that the Second Amendment guarantees the state sovereignty on gun issues, so the state can do it. But, I mean, the NRA back in the 1800s was like a sportsman's club. You know, it wasn't this, it's almost weird. It's almost like there's something wrong with these people. You know, some guy dropped his gun the other day in a Walmart somewhere and the gun went off, you know, because he was allowed to carry. I mean, not until you get into the 80s did all this craziness start. None of it. It started because in Sacramento, California, when Ronald Reagan was the governor, I don't know what year this was, it might have been, was it 68 or whatever? A bunch of Black Panthers came into the courthouse there with bandoleros of bullets and and they walk in, there's no law against them. And so the NRA guys said, hey, you know, I think we need some regulations. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, we're laughing about it. It's like something you'd say at a stand-up. But that's the truth. And so it's really sad. And I'm a gun owner, and I, you know, believe in it. My idiot son's got the, you know, guns all over the place. But, you know, there are people that can go online right now and buy guns with no background check, and they can be rapists, murderers. There are guys that went online, bought guns with no background check, and went and shot their ex-wife. I mean, that's the truth, you know? I mean, you can get them on, like, Craigslist. It's just odd to me, that's all. It is really, you know, strange. It's got to be money or something. It's got to be something that we don't get, because I don't understand it. I don't. Here's a woman that I turned down. She has kids, and before she takes off, she finds out who's on the flight, and she pays the person to help babysit her children. Julie Melnick. When she's flying, she'd find out you're in the plane, Garrett. I don't know. How would she get the manifest and find that out? I don't know. And she would call you up or email you or whatever. Facebook.
That is better than just showing up on the plane. You know, at least you get a warning that, okay, there's going to be a kid sitting next to you.
But no, you're already booked, and she finds out you're booked. Maybe I should have her on. Right?
Just to find
and
out
then
how
you
she finds these people.
You sit there with her, you know.
She like goes to the bathroom, leaves the kids off.
But these people have weird names. Liz Tankle, you know. Where do they get these names from, these odd people? Very odd.
Liz Tinkle?
Tankle.
Oh, Tankle.
No,
I was
the
going to say,
Tinklers.
Tinkle, she leaves, she watches your baby while you're in the...
I lived across the street from an English couple, and the woman was a realtor, and they were the Tinklers, Mr. and Mrs. Tinkler. And he was an old English fart, who looked at every woman in the neighborhood. And we'd have to come outside. Hello, Mrs. Tinkler. Hello, Mr. Tinkler. And they go, what? Yeah, the name was Tinkler. Every time you looked at them, you imagined that within minutes they'd be squatting in like a rose bed or something. So she, how would she find out?
The Tinklers are over.
How would she find, oh no, that happened. The Tinklers came over for tea. How would she find out to hire you? That's kind of weird. Malaysia Airlines doesn't allow kids, in first class. Well, that, I understand that. You know. And they have new seats, and they have wall-mounted bassinets. Oh, stop it. I'd leave the airplane immediately. You get in a plane, they got a thing for the kid. Ugh. The stupidest thing is to take your child across country. Have your parents come to you, for God's sakes. Friggin' kids don't even know anything. Nothing. I flew the other day with a woman who had a pot-bellied pig as her emotional support animal. That's true.
Honey,
I'm not joking.
Chow.
Yeah. And a woman just got thrown off of a plane because she thought her iguana was her emotional support animal. Oh. Am I the only person? Look at that iguana. Oh, that's kind of cute, that iguana. You know what? I would like to play with that iguana. I would pet it till it turned brown. You know what I mean? You know? Well, look, tomorrow morning at Howard 101, which it seems like it'll be in 20 minutes, we'll be back. All right. See you later.
And then I'm going to call my buddy on the telephone and say,
Daddy,